I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all the chains holding me. I wish I could say all the things that I should say. Say 'em loud and say it clear for the whole round world to hear. I wish I could share all the love that's in my heart. Remove all the bars that keep us apart. Oh, I wish you could know what it means to be me. Then you'd see and agree that every man should be free. Oh, I wish I could be just like a bird up in the sky. How sweet it would be if I'd find I could fly. Oh, I would soar to the sun and look down at the sea, and I'd sing, 'cause I'd know what it means to be free. Yes, I'd sing because I'd know what it means to be free. Your message is here. All around you. It whispers in your ear and dances like a flare right in front of you, right in front of your eyes. Steve Jordan says there's no mistake in music. No mistakes, only opportunities. Throughout these days, until Friday, ladies and gentlemen, be yourselves. Dare to share what you think, what you feel, what you dream, what you imagine, because that's why we are here today. We are here to unleash ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unleash 2018. I'd like to talk about society. I'd like to talk about peace. I'd like to talk about humanity and how to bring about love for this world. I'm like the midnight sun, hold up a light in the dark. Give my love for the lonely, I give my love for the only thing I want to give my attention to is to make your heart beat twice. I'd like to stand up like Mandela. I'd like to write a song like John Lennon. Oh, I'd like to speak like Martin Luther, but most of all, I'd like to share myself with you. I'm like the midnight sun, I hold up a light in the dark. I give my love for the lonely. I give my love for the only thing I want to give my attention to is to make your heart beat twice. Na na na, na na na, na na na, na 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 na. Na na na, na na na, na 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 na. I'd like to give a voice to the voiceless. I'd like to give an eye to the blind. I'd like to give a spark to the hopeless. Oh, I'd like to see your face with a smile. I'm like the midnight sun, hold up a light in the dark. I give my love for the lonely. I give my love for the only thing I want to give my attention to is to make your heart beat twice. I'm like the midnight sun, I hold up a light in the dark. I give my love for the lonely. I give my love for the only thing I want to give my attention to is to make your heart beat twice. Na 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 na, na 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 na, na na na, na 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 na, na 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 na, na na na, na 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 na. Thank you so much for inviting me to be here. My name is Erik Sholjom. It's a pleasure to meet you all. I'm looking very much forward to speak to you all in the breaks. I'm gonna leave you with a song called La Latina. I was born here in Madrid, and today I'm dedicating it to all of you for new friendships and new collaborations. Thank you. The place we can always call home. Only the gods may know how we found our way here, sharing our time and singing our songs, playing our games and giving our best for each other. When I think of our time back then, I can't stop singing la 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 latina, la la latina. Amigos de vida, vamos al mundo, singing together. La, 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 latina, la, la, latina. No importa donde estemos, nos tendremos el uno al otro, siempre en nuestros corazones. By the time we moved in my heart I knew that this was the start of something more than just a couple of months, or more than just a couple of times of sharing our lives all together, like we did in la 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 latina, la la latina. Amigos de vida, vamos al mundo, singing together. La 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 latina, la la latina. No importa donde estemos, nos tendremos el uno al otro. No importa por qué estamos aquí. Ay, 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 ay. Aquí. Ay, ay, da, 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 da. La, la, da, la, la. Y qué ganas tengo de veros otra vez, compartir los sueños y hacerlos crecer. Whatever we do from here, I'll always remember how it all began back then at Montaditos. Sing yeah, yeah, yeah. Yo, yo, yo. Sing yo, yo, yo. La, la, la. Sing yo, yo, yo. Sing yeah, yeah, yeah. Sing yo, yo, yo. Ay, ay, ay. Sing yo, oh, oh. Sing yo, oh, oh. Whoa. Whoa. Sing yeah, yeah, yeah. You're so many. I think I'm louder than all of you. See, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yo, yo, yo. Oh, yo, yo. Hi, yeah, yeah. Ah. Ah. All right. If you want to, you can sing along in this last chorus, all right? It's just la 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 Latina. Then the Spanish part, you can just listen to that part. 1, 2, 3, singing la 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 Latina, la la Latina. Amigos de vida, vamos al mundo. Singing together, la 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 Latina, la la Latina. No importa donde estemos, nos tendremos el uno al otro. Siempre nuestros corazones. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for being here, and I think that we should give one round of applause to Erik because he did an amazing performance. So thank you so much, Erik, for being here with us. I'm really, really happy today to be with all of you, and that's why I wanted to start off by saying thank you, because this whole experience takes place and happens thanks to all of you. So I think it's really, really important to start once again and to give yourselves the biggest round of applause possible, because you do deserve it. So please go ahead and applaud yourself. That's the way. As I said before, I'm really, really happy because, as many of you might know, this is our third edition of Unleash, and as you may know or imagine, it hasn't been easy at all. It's been 3 years with 3 editions. As I said, this is going to be the third one, that have been very, very tough. Everything that you can see here, and I hope that you enjoy it the most, has been carefully designed and planned by the entire Pangea team. And the whole vision we have, and the reason why we do all of this, is because we want you to have the most amazing experience of your life. So please, as Erik said before, be yourselves and try to make the most out of these 3 days, because I can assure you that they're going to be unbelievable. I'm happy, as I said before, because one of the most important things that actually pushed us to create this whole event was the lack of a place, of a network, of a event where people just like us could find more people like us, network, get inspired, interact, and meet all the things that are happening all over the world. It's actually sad, but our generation, as you may know, we have been like pushed forward in a world that nobody has been able to explain us how it works. Nobody knows it, actually. And the reality is that we have so many opportunities and so many things to do, but sometimes we don't really know how to actually face them, what to do with them. And the whole point of Unleash and the whole vision we have here is to actually make you feel part of it, to make them, to make all these opportunities be part and closer to you and your talent. Because in the end, what we believe is that the only way to actually change the world and to push this transformation forward is by putting talent in the middle of absolutely everything. And that's why we are here, because we wanted to create something for the youth, by the youth, to make sure that our generation plays the role that we deserve in this whole transformation. And it's really, really important because, as you might imagine, the whole Pangea team has been working very, very hard to not only make this happen, but during the entire year to make sure that our vision, which is to make sure that talent everywhere in the world, regardless of its age, of its origin, culture, language, and so on, has the access to a set of opportunities that can actually unleash, and that's the reason why we call this event that way, his or her potential. And we're happy to be here for the third edition, as I said before, because it's not only a proof, a demonstration of how we are still able to survive in this world, but also of how we want to keep on growing and to creating more and better things for you. And one of the most important things, and I said that before, is that this is not only something for young people, for our generation. As you have seen already out there in the festival, we have companies from all over the world. Some of them companies, partners, organizations from all over the world, and some of them, no, but, I mean, all of them actually, are like top class in what they do, and they're here because they want to meet you. They want to see what your ideas are, they want to see what you're able to do, they want to actually explore with you how they can count on you to transform themselves and to push their boundaries forward. So do not miss the opportunity to meet every single person in this event, every single partner in this event, and do not leave any of your dreams without having kind of like shared them with people that you have around. I'm happy also because, as you can see, and if you look around you can see it, especially for those of you who were last year, this year we have double the amount of people, and we're very, very happy because that's also one more proof of how we want to take this forward and to make this grow as much as we can. And that's only because of you. I mean, if you weren't here, if you weren't supporting us, if you weren't making all of this possible, we wouldn't be here. So it's great, and I think it's a great pleasure for all of us, for the Pangea team, which I am representing here, to welcome you to the 2018 edition of Unleash. That being said, as you might imagine, all of this happens not only because of our effort and the work we put to make this organization together, but also because of the support of all the partners we have that are making it possible, accessible, and also affordable for all of us here. And that's really, really important because we don't want anyone in this world to not be able to live this experience because of any limitations. We want this to be as accessible as possible for absolutely everyone. And even though we have a lot of partners here, as you might have seen in the photo call outside, I would like to call on stage and to welcome some of them. That doesn't mean that they're more important than the rest. They're all important, and they all together make this possible. But I want to call 5 different persons that have been with us since the very beginning and have supported us in a way that we cannot really express. The first person that I would like to call, and it's actually funny that it's the first one because they were the very, very first ones that actually supported Pangea when we were absolutely nothing. We were like a bunch of kids that had no plans, that had no idea of what to do with their lives, but we had something in common and we had a vision that we wanted to follow, which was how can we actually make sure that young people are able to do whatever they want, that they only consider the impossible as an opinion. And even though we had nothing to prove, nothing to say, they were there from the very, very beginning, and they supported us along the way during these 4 years with all their love, all their support, all their effort. And I think for me it's been like great, and I'm super, super happy to have you one more year with us. And that's why I would like to ask you all to give a huge round of applause to Vicente Montes, director of the Fundación Rafael del Pino.
Well, thank you Pablo. You know that you are part of the small family of the foundation. And of course, thank you for the music, Erik. Please, a big hand for Erik and for the dream team at Pangea. Well, dear friends, good morning to one and all, and welcome to Madrid and to Pangea 2018. Today we celebrate the launch of this inspiring initiative, fostered by a group of talented people, young and innovative, with demonstrated leadership capabilities, like Pablo and the rest of, as I have already mentioned, Dream Team at Pangea. Congratulations one more year. Pablo, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to be part of this amazing initiative, designed and driven by and for the youth. It's really a pleasure to have in attendance such a fine representation of young people with different backgrounds and aspirations from all over the world, willing to share who you are to better become who you want to be. Thank you very much for being here. This is a difficult time for everyone, especially for young people. The world continues to face uncertainties and significant challenges that at times seem insurmountable. However, what we can see here today with you are the very values that inspire us to look forward to the future. But let me briefly to explain why the Rafaela del Pino is also here today. As you probably know, especially the Spanish attendees, our founder, Rafaela del Pino y Moreno, was a very successful Spanish entrepreneur of the 20th century. He was once a young entrepreneur like you, who had to overcome many challenges in very difficult times. However, after 50 years of hard work, with effort and determination, he grew Ferrovial, a Spanish infrastructure, construction, and engineering company, into what is now one of the world's leading firms in this sector. But in 1999, at the age of 80, he decided to stop working at the company. However, his intellectual curiosity and spirit of enterprise led him then to set up the Rafaela del Pino Foundation to train leaders and entrepreneurs, to encourage freedom, and to promote the transmission of knowledge. Guided by these ideas, the foundation provides a forum where Spanish leaders and entrepreneurs are able to hone their knowledge, skills, and capabilities to better society in general. And that's the reason why we are here today. The doors of our foundation are always open to young, talented people like you. I'm happy to share with you that last year more than 13,000 young people participated in our programs, showing their promise to be the architects of a better world. So, well, for the moment, that's all I would like to say. Access to finish by once again thanking our Pangea friends, saying how pleased we are, we all, Beatriz, Lucia, Macarena, Jose, and all our dream team, how pleased we are to be here collaborating in this. And we send you a very warm welcome to this city, and of course to this crazy festival of young talent. Enjoy it. Thank you very much.
It's actually true what Vicente just said, that even though when you see all the global partners we have in this edition, the 5 we have, and you think about them, you imagine like very big companies with a lot of people behind and a lot of like teams working for that brand. But when it comes to Rafaela del Pino Foundation, as he said, there are only 7 people. And even though they managed to be up there, meaning that in the end, like, number is not a limitation, as you can see there. And also, as Vicente mentioned, I also want to thank not only Vicente, obviously, but also Beatriz and Macarena and the rest of the team for supporting us and for trusting us from the very, very beginning. Thank you so much. That being said, and probably you're gonna see during the next days, you will find a huge bunch of incredible women running all over the event, and probably you might think, like, where are they coming from? And the answer is AXA, okay? That's going to be the answer. And we're very, very happy to be here one more year, and for the second edition in their case, with one of the world's leading insurance companies as one of our global partners, because they don't only make us feel safe, which is a bad joke, but also support us very, very intensively in everything we do. We're working a lot with them, and trust me, they're a company that really, really, really promotes talent and is very, very aware of the importance of our generation in the transformation they're going through. And we have a very special person, and you will see now why I say special, because he said, I don't want to go on stage. I want to do something different, as AXA is. And that's why I ask you please to give him a huge round of applause to Jesus Carmona. Thank you so much.
So, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Ha ha ha. Hey hey hey. So I'm trying to do the best, as good as Eric, but it doesn't work the same way. So anyway, good morning, everyone. I feel very, very happy to be here on behalf of AXA. For consecutive second year, we are one of the global partners of AXA. I have to say that I feel very, very excited, very impressed as well to be surrounded by such young women and men, talented women, talented men. And honestly, I'm going to be very honest with you. Yesterday afternoon, I wanted to prepare a speech, you know, to come here, to be cool, relax, read the speech. And at the end of the day, I said, no. If I do that, I will be wrong. And you know why? Because you don't deserve a speech. What you deserve is that I try to be myself. Because everybody, and I will say that Pablo has been very clear on that, Eric as well. The 3 days here is about yourself, is about being yourself. And this is for me what I'm going to do and to try to do today, trying to be myself, showing my emotions, showing my way of thinking, and having this speech with you. So as you know, AXA is a big company. I'm not going to bore you about numbers, how big we are, how many employees do we have, which is a combined ratio. Does somebody knows what is a combined ratio in an insurance company? I'm not going to speak about that. You have plenty of time to go to internet, to Googleize, and you will have all the information you want. What I want to do today is to speak about the aspiration of AXA, which is the main mission, which is the main aspiration. And the aspiration of AXA worldwide is basically people. We work for people. We work with people. We want people to have a better life. We want people to get the empower to live a better life. This is what we want to do in our daily basis day. So therefore, this is our positioning as a company. Also, why we want that? Because world is changing. In the next 20 years, you will be more or less my age, even younger, you will see much more changes, faster changes than in the last 1,000 years. 20 years, 2,000 years. Many things to come. We know, I don't know if somebody knows about technological singularity. Yes? Somebody knows? Technological singularity means that in 30 years' time, some big scientists are forecasting that the artificial intelligence, the robotic, will be doing better than the human being in terms of intelligence. This is not, I will say, science is not science fiction. It's becoming a reality. And that means also that we need to prepare, and you have to play a role in these big changes, because otherwise we are going to be lost. So my view here is to explain what I feel and what I expect from you as young, talented people. What I expect, first of all, is to be sure that you are going to be honest with yourselves, that you are going to be accountable and responsible for the changes, because the future, the present is already your present, but the future will depend on you. So, as I said, exercise, be honest, be myself. And what does that mean? I want to share with you what I feel. First, I feel the vibe. I feel the vibe that you are bringing to me, the vibration. I feel this energy. I feel courage. I feel the courage that you have to be yourself. And being yourself means really being yourself, being vulnerable. accepting who you are, acting as you are, and don't lose your time. Believe me, when I started a few years ago, 30, like you, I wanted to be similar to the others because I thought that I wasn't that good as me. Big mistake. I lost many years of my life. Don't lose your years. Be yourself. Express the way you are. Everybody is different, and that will make a big difference. I also feel commitment. I'm sure you are committed all together, everyone individually, to make things happen and to make things better. The world has to be better, and your responsibility will be to make sure it becomes better. I feel also determination. Determination to make decisions. Doesn't matter if the decision is right or the decision is wrong. At the end, which makes the difference is to make the decision, to try, and to learn if you fail. Learning. This is the maturity of being different from the others. I feel also diversity. Erik gave us a good example for diversity. He already put a big connection between himself and the people around. And this is the diversity not just because you are a woman or a man, not just because you are Italian, Spanish, African, Mexican, Argentinian, not just because you are an artist, an entrepreneurial, or a businessman or businesswoman. The diversity is what you bring as well, and I'm trusting that this diversity will help to have a better world. Finally, what I feel also, to be honest, some fear. Fear to fail. Fear not to succeed. Fear to be wrong. This is not bad. This is human. This is also very good. That could be very good, extremely good, if you try and if you learn about that, and if you are yourself once again. So therefore, and I will not take longer time, my point here is effectively what I hope is that you will continue working and doing things in order to overcome difficulties, because you will go through difficulties, even through impossibles. But you know what? Impossible is just an opinion. Impossible is just an opinion. Take it as an opinion, and you will be doing big things. Finally, you are, for me, and I'm sure for most of the people, superheroes. Superheroes capable to make changes, to make the world better. And frankly, count on AXA, count on me to accompany you on your fantastic journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jesus. Now we can say why I said that he was a very special person, and as you can see, he lives the Cepsa Experience very, very well. He said something very important that actually maps not only Pangea but also Unleash, which is diversity. Diversity for us is really, really, really important because I think it makes everything better. It makes everything greater, and what's more important, it makes people have a more productive life in all the senses. As you might know, when you work with people that are coming from all over the world, as you can experience here in Unleash, you can feel that your talent grows exponentially. And that's what we want to do. And that's what we believe in, that the more diverse we are, the better we might and the better we should get to be. And it's actually cool that only this year, and it's something that is very special for us for the third edition, to have actually the company that has been considered to be the most diverse company in the world. And yeah, we have them here. And this is not because of, this is not random, this is not a random thing. This happens because of the effort they put, not only in diversity, but also in talent. And probably during your day-to-day life, most of the things that you get to touch, you get to do, you get to work on, most of the technology you're gonna be like using, it comes from them. It comes from the talent that works in a company like them, and that makes them even better, as I said. But for me, one of the most important things after having worked with them for 3 years is how diverse they are, and what's more important, how they actually make their diversity a very powerful driving force of change. And that's why for me it's a great pleasure to welcome on stage Sara Herrero, Human Resources Director of Accenture Spain. Big round of applause for her, please.
and welcome to Enlist. It is a great honor for me and for Accenture to participate in this unique event for third year in a row. You will have the chance to meet a group of people with unique talents, like each of you have. I can also see here innovation and a great mixture of talent, culture, and backgrounds. The perfect blend Accenture is looking for. Diversity. It is true. This is a very popular word nowadays. It is easy to say, but sometimes really difficult to achieve. But why this is so important for Accenture? Because we truly believe that diversity is a source of creativity and innovation, which is one of our most popular DNA at Accenture. In fact, in Spain, we have more than 11,000 professionals, 4 generations, 16 nationalities working together. If that is only Spain, imagine how important it might be when we are talking about more than 440,000 professionals all over the world. But for Accenture, diversity is not only a matter of people with multiple backgrounds, ages, races, cultures, backgrounds, or sexual orientation in the same company. Individual talent is not enough to change the world we work and live, which is the Accenture mission. It is a matter of creation of an inclusive environment where each person can be themselves, everywhere, every time. Tomorrow you will see it in the experience that we have prepared for you with Blanca and Binomio. We will share with you their personal and professional experience working at Accenture Interactive, or digital marketing agency, which is, by the way, the largest in the world. And I would like to invite you also to discover the latest technologies that we are using to transform products, services, and companies. Technologies such as artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, blockchain, or cloud can only be used correctly with capabilities that only belong to humans, such as creativity, empathy, or ethics behaviors. Skills that shape the best talent. So, you are really the generation responsible for taking the reins of the present and leading the future. We are writing right now the future. You can see it in the phenomenal projects you are currently working on. And you have in your hands this powerful gift, the future. And I know this is a huge responsibility that maybe you have not asked for, but it is also your decision on what to do with it, every day, every moment. So, no matter if your area of influence is big or small, you will be known by something, and it is your decision, the imprint, and the legacy that you want to leave in your area of influence. It is your decision to put your talent to work to improve the world we work and live in a responsible way, or do nothing with it. But I'm pretty sure that you will. So congratulations to all of you for the very amazing work that you are doing. And now, keep it up, don't give up, unleash your talent, and enjoy Enlist.
Thank you so much, Farah, for your words. It's a great honor to have you here one more year and to have, as she said before, Accenture for the third edition in a row. Something that I learned last year that it was really, really surprising for me, and I didn't know it, was that actually that selling or working in a soap company can be actually fun. I mean, when you talk about, for example, selling like soap, I mean, you don't think that can be a funny thing, and you aspire to maybe sell cars or to sell other things. But last year we managed to actually learn that that's possible, that you can be sexy while selling things that, for example, soap. This year, one of the things that we actually tried to do to make Unleash bigger was to not only make things happen during these 3 days, but to open this whole experience and to make other kind of like events take place during the months that happened previously. And that's why this year we launched with P&G a global campaign, both here in Spain, but also in France, to actually get young people to do more things, to be part of the change that this company is going through at the moment. After 2 years working with P&G, we're very, very happy to have them one more year with us. not only the Spanish or the Southern Europe cluster team, but also the French and Benelux one, which makes it more challenging for us, but more fun, because we're growing and expanding with them, and so we are so happy and grateful for this opportunity. And as I said before, and it was really surprising for me, and maybe some of you may know her, because last year she gave, in my opinion, one of the best experience moments we had. We have her here one more year, because people wanted that to happen. And that is why I would like to ask you all, please, to give a huge round of applause to Vanessa Prats, Commercial Director of P&G in Iberia.
Okay. Wow, this is a big audience. Thank you, Pablo. It's actually a privilege to be part of Unleash for the second year in a row, and I know I speak not only for myself, but for every P&G'er around the room. I'm bad with atriums, so I took the liberty of following my lead here, and I am doing this right in front of you. Congratulations to Pablo and all of you that are taking part of this event for the next 3 days. I believe, personally, this is a magnificent event, because it unites three of my favorite things, okay? It unites talent, and the world is run by talent. It unites creativity, and creativity is what is gonna save us all. And it unites passion, which is what changes the world. And that is what I believe, Pablo, makes Unleash a very good fit with my company for years, P&G. And Pablo referred to it. I was lucky enough to be invited to share my own experience last year. Maybe some people are repeating the experience and remember about me. I am not going to tell my story again, but I was asked by my communications team to give you a hint of what P&G is all about. And I could do that many ways, okay? I could tell you that we have more than 65 brands, operate in more than 180 countries around the world. I can tell you that you've probably used 2, if not more, of our brands just this morning. But I am going to do what I would love to be told if I was sitting where you're sitting, and I was your age, which would be great, by the way. I'm going to tell you what we believe in as a company, because if I was where you are and I was having the opportunity to choose where my professional career is going to go, I would start there. I would start by choosing companies whose beliefs I share. Okay? So here I go. We believe in diversity. We are a company that profoundly believes in diversity, and you're going to see later in the experience talks to what degree we take this. Guys, we not only have the power of owning brands that can make your daily lives better, and that's our purpose. We improve people's lives, okay? One step at a time. We talk to 5 billion consumers around the globe every day. I'm telling you, that gives you a lot of power. We want to tell societies that diversity is good, that people have the right to feel included and contribute, whatever their gender, whatever their age, whatever their sexual orientation, whatever their religion, whatever their hair color. And we do that actively, every day of the year. We believe in doing our humble part in improving the world we live in. We have a lot to do on environmental causes, a lot, okay? My company sells a lot of plastic, let's be honest. But we are doing our part, and we take it very, very seriously. We are committed to get drinkable water to places in the world where that is not of easy access. We do that as a company. We're also very committed to do things that improve an issue that is becoming a bigger and bigger one by the day, which is plastic sitting in our oceans. Last year, I came to this same audience, and I told you about the story of a young talent of ours who came to me back in the day with the crazy idea of selling shampoo bottles made of recovered plastic from the oceans. I can tell you, this year, that bottle is sold already in Spain. You can go to a hypermarket channel and get it for yourselves. Because we're in the business of doing, we're not in the business of talking. And we want to change our planet to be a better place, and we have a lot to say about that. We believe in people, first and foremost. We believe in talent. But we don't not only believe in talent, we believe that when people are given the responsibility, the power, and the means to do things, they do amazing things. So our commitment is first and foremost to our people. From day one, we will make you better. That's who we are, that's what we do. A former CEO of P&G once said, and it became a famous quote, that if P&G was to lose its brands, its factories, all its physical assets, but we kept our people, it will be a matter of time to get it all back, not the other way around. So we believe in people. We also believe in, I have 2 more to go, and then I'll be done. We believe in creativity. I referred to that before as one of the areas where you in Unleash can help us tremendously. We need people that give us new ideas, that have a different way of thinking, that have a different way of looking at things, that can think out of the box, can stretch the box, can break the box. That's who we are after. That's why we're initiating a whole bunch of efforts to make sure that people like you come on board and help us get better. We believe creativity can and should change the world. Lastly, but probably most importantly, because selling soap is fun, we believe in coming to work every day and have fun at the end of it. So it's all very good. We want to change the world. We want to do our jobs right. We want to sell more. But we also want to have fun, which is why I'm particularly fond of the Unleash event, because I think this is ultimately about having fun whilst we meet each other. So that's what I hope for you for the next couple of days. I hope you find a way to understand what your beliefs are. I hope you find a way to unleash your creativity. I hope you find a way to have fun. Thank you, Pablo. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Vanessa, for your kind words. As I said before, it's a great honor for Pangea and for the entire Unleash team to have, for the 2nd edition in a row, in this case, the entire P&G team. And as I said, not only the Southern European one, but also the entire French and Benelux cluster, which is a great opportunity for us to take all of this further and to make sure that more young people from all over the world get to know this huge opportunity. Last but not least, and this is really, really important, we got started with a Spanish organization. I'm really happy to finish this with also a Spanish brand. And it's actually important because, I mean, we've been talking about having fun, about being diverse, about making the most out of this experience, but we all know that if we want to have fun, there's something we can never miss. And I think we all know that it's called beer, right? And I think, as I said before, we couldn't have a better one. I know we might be in a place where you might not see it everywhere, but they are there. And they have to be even more, because they are so great, and that's important. And the good thing is not only what they do, what they produce, what we are going to be drinking during the entire 3 days, not much, but enough, but the people that are working behind. And I got to meet them some months ago. And since that moment, we connected as 2 organizations, as Pangea and Estrella Galicia, and we've been working and doing so many crazy things to actually make sure that talent and beer, which are 2 very important things, can actually work together to unleash their potential. And I think that can happen for real, right? You might know that. And that is why, for me, it's a great honor to welcome on stage, in this case, Alba from Estrella Galicia. Big applause for her, please.
Thank you, Pablo. I'm Alba. I'm one of the representatives of Hijos de Rivera, Estrella Galicia. We are not just a brewery. We are more than that. As Paul Tran, our Human Resources Director, says, we like to experiment and break barriers. We like to surround ourselves with people who share our passion and who have our disruptive spirit. Only then, combined with our trajectory and long expertise, we are able to create breakthrough products. So come and have a beer with us at our stand. Come and share your magnetism and passion with us. Thank you very much, and see you there. Bye.
Thank you so much, Alba. As I said before, go see their, not only her stand, but all the stands we will have out there. They're called hubs, and as you know, during lunchtime, during breakfast time, and at the end of the event every year, you will have the chance not only to be here, but to be at the festival where all these incredible partners and many more will be waiting for you with many, many things to share with you and your talent. I also think that it's really, really important now that we have welcomed all our global partners to give a big, big, big round of applause to all our generation partners and to all the organizations that have worked with us. So please give them a huge round of applause. I won't name them now because we don't have much time, but thank you so much to all the companies and to all the organizations that have make this possible. It's important, and I said that at the very beginning for me and for the entire Pangea team to have you here, to make sure that you live the most unbelievable experience of your life, and to make sure that whenever you finish these 3 days, you go back home, whatever that might be, full of energy, as Vanessa said before, full of passion, full of creativity, not full of beer, but with the rest, yeah, sure, and with something very clear, as I said before, that nobody is smart enough, powerful enough, strong enough to tell you that you cannot achieve what you want. And that's really, really important. No matter what you might up end up working, no matter what you end up living or doing or whatever, what matters is what you're able to do today, tomorrow, and the day after. And that's what's gonna make you happy forever. Because in the end, happiness is not an objective, it's how you want to live your day-to-day life. And when it comes to talking about happy people, people full of energy, people full of creativity and passion, we needed someone to make sure that this whole experience happens in a very smoothly and sexy way, to make sure that all of you who are here and all the people that will come throughout these 3 days enjoy this experience. And as I said before, and this is really important, we don't want this to be something boring. We want this to be very interactive, very, very, very fun for all of you. And we have someone with us today, tomorrow, and the day after that will be in charge with a very big responsibility of taking this whole event forward and making sure that every single person that is sitting here has as much fun as possible. We all know YouTube. We all know the Vine world. We all know that we communicate differently as a generation, and that's one of the problems that today's companies have when it comes to communicating with us. And we brought someone, and we invited to be with us for the next 3 days, someone that knows what communication feels, what actually communication means when we have to do it differently and when we want to interact with people, touching their emotions. And that's why, for me, and this is the biggest round of applause in this morning, please to Maria, who will be our host for the next 3 days. So I leave you with her, and please make sure that you have as much fun as possible during the next 3 days. Thank you so much, and have a great day.
Hi. Ooh, so many. Are you excited to be here? Like, please answer me. It's not like a rhetoric question. Are you excited to be here? That's cool. I'm excited too. I'm very nervous. But I'm very thankful also to the Pangea team for having me here. It's very important for me. This experience is like getting out of my comfort zone so much, but it's very nice. I have not singled out that our generation has so much potential, so much to offer, and that we are gonna contribute so much to the world. It's like people are like, millennials. We are amazing. Like, millennials are like the bomb, so I'm cool for that. The next few days, you're gonna be living the proof of it, so I'm very happy about it. I'm gonna say something before we all get started. I'm so nervous, so maybe I say things that are nonsense. I misspell, I make mistakes. So I just ask you, please, we're gonna laugh about it, we smile, and we act as nothing happened, because that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm just gonna act like I'm not shitting my pants, because I'm really nervous right now, okay? So that's all. I'm gonna briefly introduce myself. I am Maria. I have 27 years old, even though they still ask me for my ID card. Sometimes I ask for something that's not water. I studied advertising and public relationships. I did a master's degree in graphic design. I am from Valencia, but I've lived here in Madrid for 3 years now. And actually, I study to be an actress, and I work in the radio. And I think that's all you have to know about me, because my life is not that interesting. So pretty much that is it. We're gonna get started, but I have to tell you some important things before we get started. It's gonna be 2 minutes, and I'll introduce you to our next speaker, because she's amazing. I've known her now for 2 minutes, but it's enough for me to know she's lovely. And I'm gonna tell you important things for these upcoming days, for you to get like the most out of this Unleash experience, because I know you're thirsty for knowledge. I can see it in your face. You want to learn. You want to get everything you can of this experience, and you're going to have a great time, and we're going to make it happen. So between each speaker, you're going to have this energy. It's going to keep flowing, because we're going to have a vast range of performance by the hands of young artists that are amazing. They have so much talent. They have so much passion for what they do, and they all have unique stories to tell, but they share all one thing in common, and it's that they live their lives doing what they're most passionate about. And that's amazing, because you have to live your life with passion. If not, what kind of life you're living? It's so boring. So you have to put passion in things. Next thing I have to tell you, every now and then we'll invite our sponsors on stage, and they will show you their most innovative advances of our generation. That's very cool. You're here to learn things, and they're gonna make you learn things, so that's important. And lastly, but not least, because it's very important for somebody that loves food, that is my case, I'm a food lover, and I hope you all are, it's the break. So nice. Break. Food, drinks, meeting people, that's amazing. So we'll be here in the agenda, just right behind me. When you see the words break or the festival, we'll all go to the festival part. That is where you've been this morning. And that means you can have a soda, you can have a snack, you can just get this unleash atmosphere that's so cool. You can speak one to another, you can learn, share your dreams, everything you want to do. You can do it. And also, you can visit the innovative spaces managed by our sponsors that will surely fill you with energy. Again, because energy is important. We want you energetic. We want you happy. So, 2 more things very important, very quickly. The whole event will be live streamed. You can find it on YouTube or Facebook. So, if you want to share it with somebody and you want them to see, you can. And also, there's going to be a tweet wall here. You can see it. So, if you want to tweet funny things, or, I don't know, questions, or you want to say how amazing this experience is being so far, you can share it over there. And the last thing I'm going to say, and I present our first speaker, is that if you have any doubts, don't hesitate in asking our Pangea team. They are amazing, they are lovely, and you can ask through the app any question you have, and they will just, any concern you have, they'll solve it. So that's amazing. Thank you, Pangea, again, for bringing me here. I'm very happy to be with you. And I'm very happy to present our new speaker, our first speaker of today. Her name is Elian. Elian comes from the United States, where she's a strong advocate and a leader in her community in an effort to raise awareness about the dangers of skin cancer, something that I am very concerned about, I have to say. She is also a unique fashion designer. Her brand has a focus on the protection against solar UV radiation. So please give her a huge round of applause, Elian.
Is it great?
Hola. Hi, everyone.
Oh, there's a lot of you here. Before I start telling you why I'm here, I actually wanted to tell you a story that you're probably going to think I'm crazy, and my mom is probably going to kill me after this. But a couple of weeks ago, I went to my first Why workshop. A Why workshop, for those of you not familiar or who have never heard of this, it's a concept created by Simon Sinek, and it's a way of finding your personal purpose statement. As part of this workshop, you're supposed to tell stories to your partner, who in this case was a stranger, and that partner reflects the stories back to you, and that's how you kind of get to your personal purpose statement. So when I had to tell the stories, she was looking at me and she's like, "Can you tell us a story?" And I literally blanked, like my brain had no stories. There was nothing in my brain that I could tell. And so she started asking me questions, and for some reason, the only story I could tell was this one time that I went to dinner with my friends. The dinner was over, we had had a lot of water to drink, and I ordered an Uber to go back to my building, and on my way back to the building, there was a lot of traffic. So I was in the cab, and I really needed to use the bathroom, and there was no bathroom in the cab, obviously. And so I get to my building, I run to the elevator to get to my apartment, everything was fine, and all of a sudden, the elevator breaks down, and I'm in the elevator alone, and I'm like, oh my God. It starts stopping on every single floor, literally. So one floor before my floor, I literally couldn't hold it anymore, and I wet my pants. And it was fine, there was no one there, but my partner was like looking at me and she's like, "Why are you telling this story? Like, I asked you to tell a memorable story, how can that be the only thing that you're telling me?" And so I just continued with my story even though she was staring at me like, "What are you doing?" So I told her once I got to my floor, no one had seen anything, it was as if it never happened. And my next-door neighbor, who had just moved into the building, was standing there waiting for the elevator. So he literally looks at me, looks at the floor, looks back at me, and starts laughing. And I'm like, "Hi, I'm so sorry." And through that, we became best friends. So this partner, now not knowing what this story had anything to do with my life, tells me, "How does that make you feel?" And I looked back at her and I was like, "Amazing. I mean, I made a friend out of peeing my pants. So like, why not? It's amazing." And so through that story and a couple other equally as embarrassing stories I told that day, I arrived at the draft of my personal purpose statement, which I have no idea how it got here, but I want to inspire others to find the best in everything so that they can make the world a happier place. It sounds very cliche-ish, but somehow through me peeing in my pants, I found this. So why am I actually here? It's kind of connected to this. 4 years ago, I got diagnosed with skin cancer. I was on a family vacation in Cancun, when all of a sudden, in the elevator, because everything in my life happens in elevators, my dad stares at something that had popped up in my nose, and he's like, "What is that?" And I said, "A pimple." And he's like, "That doesn't look like a pimple." And I'm like, "I'm a girl. I know what a pimple is. It's a pimple." So he like gets closer, looks at it, and he's like, "How long have you had it?" And honestly, I think it was more than a year, but I just said like a year probably. And he literally stops, stares at me, and goes like this. Like literally the world had stopped, he froze, and he demands that I have to immediately go to Peru. I was living in New York at the time, but I'm Peruvian. So he's like, "You have to go to Peru and see a doctor." And at the time I was like, "You're insane. I'm gonna take a flight from New York to Peru to get a pimple checked out. Like, that doesn't make any sense." But he's a plastic surgeon, and so I listened. And a week later, I went to Peru, and I went to the doctor, and he told me that the pimple I had was actually a tumor and that I had skin cancer. So to put it into perspective, at the time, I was 25 year old. I was living in New York City. I was working in consulting, traveling the world back and forth. I worked for Ernst & Young. So I was dating boys on and off. I was partying, just a typical 25-year-old. So hearing that I had cancer was like, whoa, my life is coming to an end. Like, damn it. So what happens next actually happens way too quick. My family found a doctor in California who performed the surgery. Unfortunately, literally half of my nose got chopped off. Not exaggerating, the tumor was the whole tip of my nose. So literally, in one day, it was gone. I think you can sort of tell in that picture. That was a couple of months after. And due to the location of the tumor, they weren't able to close the wound, so it had to stay open for about 6 months. So what happens after that is 2 weeks after the surgery, I go back to New York to resume life, and everything seemed to be normal, other than I was wearing a huge, obnoxious white patch in my face. So that's after. So what happened is I started getting tired of people staring at me everywhere I went. I started getting pulled off projects at work. I couldn't travel as much. If you know the nature of consulting, you have to travel a lot, so no traveling was not a good thing. So work started pulling me off. I broke up with the boy I was seeing at the time, so things just started feeling down. Times were tough. So I got home, and for the first time in my life, I asked myself, why the fuck is this happening to me? Like, what have I done? And like we've all done at one point or other in our lives, I started Googling. And Google can be horrible, or it can be amazing. And in this time, I actually found out, what I found out was insane. I found out that skin cancer was the most common form of cancer, and I had no idea. I had never met anyone that would speak about skin cancer. I also found out that 1 out of 5 Americans would get skin cancer before the age of 70. So I was like, hold on, like this doesn't make any sense. And I also read that it was the most preventable form of cancer. So it's like, something's not right. And at that time, I like put myself back together, and I gave a pep talk to myself. I told myself, you have 2 options now. 1, you stay here in this couch crying to yourself because you were 1 out of those 5, or you get your shit together and you do something about this. After all, it is the most preventable form of cancer. And somehow I got inspired by myself, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do something. What? Who the hell knows, but I'm gonna do it. So I called my mom, and I'm like, Ma, it was probably midnight by then, and I'm like, Ma, I have an idea, I wanna do something. And she freaked out, because it was like a couple months after the surgery. And she's like, what do you mean, what's happening? And I'm like, I think I wanna start a movement or some sort of something to raise awareness against skin cancer. And she literally so pissed, she goes, can we talk about this tomorrow, bye, and hangs up. That night, I literally stayed the whole night thinking. It was like a cloud of creativity. I had ideas coming in and out of my brain. And I decided that I wanted to design a hat out of the blue. I had never designed a hat or anything in my life. And that I wanted to start selling my hat as a way to raise awareness. I also came up with the idea of naming my company or my movement Fuck the Sun, because that's how I felt at the moment. And I started designing logos. I downloaded a free version of Adobe Photoshop, and I literally, there's a screenshot of the first couple logos that I designed by myself. And I wake up the next morning, I sent an email to work. I was like, I'm so sorry, unfortunately, I won't be able to make it to work. I feel really sick. It was not true. I was in this like inspirational moment that I really wanted to do something, so I wanted to spend the whole day working on this idea. And then I called my mom, and I was like, Ma, okay, finally I have an idea. I'm gonna do hats, and I'm gonna sell these hats, and I'm gonna do something about this. And so she goes like, okay. And that day, I actually started Googling. Thank God we live in a time where you can literally Google anything you want, and it just takes 1 click for you to find out whatever you want. So I Googled how to make a hat. I figured out it would be cheaper to make the hats in Peru than in New York. So I found a manufacturer. I ordered samples of Amazon. I sent them all to my house. I called my mom. I sent them all to Peru to my mom. And I told her, I need you to start making these hats. 2 months later, I literally took a flight to Peru to pick up the 500 hats that I had manufactured out of the blue. We decided to put a hashtag shady because I liked the hashtag, and it was the world of Instagram, and I was like, let's just put a hashtag shady. It has a double meaning. People are gonna laugh at it. And I thought everything was gonna be easy from then on. So I got to Peru to pick up my 500 hats, and I only had a suitcase, and I completely underestimated how much space they were gonna take. Literally, I tried stuffing them all in a suitcase. Turns out only like 200 of them fit. The rest I had to leave it in Peru. And I smuggled them back into the US. I started selling them to my friends, and then friends of friends, until I started selling to strangers. And then I accidentally sold it to a government official in the US. And at that time, there was nothing. It was just me selling hats. And he asked me, how can I donate more money to the cause? And then it hit me. I was like, oh my God, first of all, I'm selling this illegally. I have nothing to do with the money that I'm gonna get from him. It's not official. I have nothing, not even a website. So I politely declined the money. I was like, I'm so sorry, as much as I want to take it, I can't. And he just laughed, because he probably knew. But it clicked me, and I had to find a way of doing this official. So I reached out to a college professor who had taught me a class in entrepreneurship, and I told him, hey, I'm starting this movement. I really need your help. I have no idea what to do. I've Googled how to create a company, but I'm lost. And he started giving me some tips. And a couple months later, I had established my first company in Delaware. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to create a nonprofit straight on because of my situation in the US, but I was able to establish an LLC that would work as a nonprofit. I also spent days, nights, morning, every weekends, everything, Googling how to make my own website. And what you see behind was the first version of our website that I designed from scratch just by watching YouTube tutorials, literally. And then the last thing we had to do was find a purpose, because yes, I knew I wanted to sell hats, but I knew that selling hats wasn't gonna get me anywhere. So with the help of friends and family and everyone around me, we started shaping what the movement, I wanted the movement to be, or what our vision was gonna be. And we arrived at this mission of helping to prevent skin cancer in the rest of the world by protecting those in need, promoting education, and raising awareness. So, sorry, it's a little cut. So after I had sort of started the movement and I kind of had a vision or a direction where I wanted to take this campaign, I didn't know how I was gonna get there, but by luck, I opened the New York Times one day. I had a habit of opening it every morning, and the first article that I read was an article about kids with albinism in Tanzania. For those of you who are not familiar with the situation, it's actually horrible. These kids are deadly discriminated and even mutilated because of witchcraft. And I was just in shock. I was like, how can this happen nowadays, and why is no one doing anything about this? So I started Googling, and the more I Googled, the more I found out. And I found out that although they get deadly discriminated, their worst enemy is actually the sun. These kids, only 2% of them get to the age of 40 due to skin cancer. So I was like, oh my God, I need to help, I need to do something. And just like with F the Sun, that I had no idea what I was doing, I reached out to an organization in Canada that was helping these kids. And I was like, hey, I just read this article, I really need to help you. And they answered back immediately, and they were like, can we set up a call? And the next day, I had a call with them, and I told them, I really want to help you. I have no idea what I can do for you, but I know I have to help. And so they told me, we're having a summer camp for kids with albinism in a couple months in Africa. Why don't you come? And when they said, why don't you come? They said, why doesn't your team show up? And at that time, it was just me, literally. So I was like, sure, we'll be there. Guess what? 2 months later, I was on a flight to Tanzania with my brother, a friend, and a huge box of hats that we had prepared for them. We had no idea what we were doing. Literally no idea. None of us had ever taught a class. None of us had ever been to Africa. And this was Mwanza, Africa. It was a small town. And we had no idea what we embarked ourselves into. So we not only delivered one class, but we actually delivered 10 different classes to 10 different groups of students. And that was the beginning of our educational campaigns. After that trip, we donated about 300 hats that I had designed to the kids in this summer camp. And after seeing them all running around with our hats that say "Stay Shady," it gave us so much energy. And I was like, okay, this is our purpose. This is what we need to do as a company if we want to do something. So I got back to New York full of energy. And then, unfortunately, I got diagnosed again. And it was like a mood killer. It was like, literally, I was so ready to do this. And then, unfortunately, I saw something in my neck, and I went to the doctor knowing what to expect, and he's like, yeah, you got cancer again. And I was like, oh, great. So I hit pause for a second, and this time, thank God, it was in my neck, but it was more aggressive, and I needed to get surgeries immediately. So I got the surgeries to remove it from my neck, and the doctor, a couple weeks after, tells me, now you have to start changing your life. Like, you've got 2 cases before the age of 30, that's not a good sign. So he handed me a couple of brochures of clothing that I needed to start wearing, and he goes, this is the change you've got to make. And I look at the brochures, and literally what you have behind me, one is me, and the other one is what he gave me, and he wanted me to dress like that. So I remember getting home, calling my mom, and I'm like, Ma, there's no way. Like, I'd rather get cancer again than having to look like that. Like, there's no way I'm doing that. That's how bad it was. So that's basically how By Elian was born, which is the second company we created. I started manufacturing, so I found out where I could get some protective fibers or fabrics, and I placed a huge order with some of the savings I had from my job in consulting. There was a minimum order, so I literally bought a huge roll of this UPF fabric. And I sent it to Peru, and I told my mom, if I send you a couple of designs that I'll create, would you be able to make the clothing for me? Because there's no way I'm dressing like that. And she said, yes, she's the most supportive person in the world. And she was like, sure, send it over. So due to that, I started manufacturing my own clothing, and then my friends started telling me, oh my God, I love that. And I was like, really? I designed it. And I was so proud walking with it. And so the more my friends asked for it, the more I started noticing something. If it is the most common form of cancer, and my friends like it, I can't be the only person in the world that wants this or needs this. And so By Elian was born. It was a mix of my own personal needs with like this huge gap in the market for some protective clothing for young people. And so a friend, Esther, who's actually the model in this picture, joined me. I had no idea of anything fashion related, and at the time she was working for Macy's. So she joined me with a little experience of a 24-year-old, and we decided to embark in this fashion industry journey. And so we came up with the branding, and we figured out that this company was not only going to help protect young women like me, but it was also going to fund the F the Sun efforts. So now I found a revenue stream for the nonprofit that I had the vision of creating. So then I hit the major, I would say, roadblock of this whole movement, and that was that due to things outside of my control, I wasn't able to continue to grow either the fashion brand or F the Sun in New York, and I had to move it back to Peru. At the time, I was like, oh my God, it's the end of things. However, I moved it to Peru, and shortly after realized that Peru was the best place that I could have ever moved this campaign. Actually, it is the country with the highest radiation levels in the world, and that explains my situation. That explains why I had skin cancer when I was so young. I was born and raised there. And it made me realize that if I had to start somewhere, I had to start at the root cause of the problem, right? So everything made sense. I finally was happy that I was moving there. Now I had a lot of funding from the fashion brand that started growing organically. And my brother, Steven, who was a med student at the time, living in Peru, decided to join the campaign and became the president of the organization. And he was able to grow it. He was working in hospitals in Peru, so we partner with hospitals, we partner with doctors around, and with the help of everyone, we came up with what F the Sun is today. He was able to grow it in Peru. What we did is we grabbed a map of Peru, and we started pinpointing the areas where we knew had the highest radiation levels in the world. And we were like, we're gonna start going to those places first, and then we're gonna see what happens. So we went to the first time we did this campaign, we actually went to Huaraz, which is a city in the Andes. And the reason why we chose that one is because, one, it's the third place in the world that has had the highest radiation levels in the world, and my family was vacationing there that week. So without knowing what we were doing, this was the first legit educational campaign after Tanzania, we just went there, and it was just me and my brother, with a huge box of hats that we had crafted for these kids, and a PowerPoint presentation of the classes we were going to teach. And so we started teaching the classes, and soon after, like an hour into it, I realized these are 400 kids that I have to teach in a day. There's no way I can do this. Me and my brother can do this alone. So I called my mom, I called everyone, and my whole family shows up in the school, and I told them all, like, these are the slides, you're teaching sun safety to kids. And they probably hated me at that minute, but that was the beginning of actually F the Sun. That's when people saw how good it felt to teach people and the reaction that these kids were having. And from there, we got a lot of feedback from the principal and the teachers and everyone in the school. And we got back into Lima, and we said, okay, now we need to actually get help from the outside world. Like, we can't keep on, if we want to actually grow it and live our vision, we can't keep on doing it by ourselves. So we started asking for help, and we got in teachers, we got in doctors, we got volunteers of all sorts, and we put together very amazing curriculum for the classes. We started designing this what we call the SPF Chuyos, which are these hats that not only protect you from the sun, but also protect kids from the bad weather that you have in the mountains of Peru, which is the areas where you have the highest radiation levels. So these are the SPF Chuyos. They are a material that we created that insulates heat, and then on the inside it protects you from the UV rays. And so that leads me to where we are today. Today, we've taught over 3,000 or 5,000 kids worldwide. We've done all the major cities in Peru that suffer from the highest radiation levels in the world. We continue to help the kids in Tanzania that I met for the first time now 3 years ago. We created these bracelets that we call the magic bracelets that help kids identify UV rays. They actually change color, and that's the way we teach kids that even though it's something we can't see, it's always targeting us. And we've done a couple art installations, which is the picture at the top, where we recreated a cemetery made out of towels, and that's used to raise awareness against tanning. It was very controversial. People hated us and loved us that day, but it worked, and it did a very amazing message. By Elian, which is the clothing brand, we actually hit a small pause while we redefined the concept. As I told you guys, I had no idea in fashion, and I jumped for it without knowing what I was doing. And I noticed that at one point, I had to take a step back, redesign the whole thing, and come back stronger. And if there's anything I've learned throughout this journey, is that sometimes it's good to fall down. Sometimes that's what you need. It's not a failure unless you don't stand up again, right? It's only a failure if you stay there and you think to yourself, okay, I tried, I failed. But you can always stand up, and when you stand up, make sure that it's even taller, and that's what we're trying to do with Elian. It's actually in the background, we're coming up with new designs. We have an in-house designer, so things are moving in the right direction. So before I finish, I wanted to tell you something. If you ever find yourself in a shitty situation, maybe like the one I taught at the beginning of the speech when I told you all that I was peeing my pants in public, I really hope that you're able to laugh, make the best of it, and keep on going. Looking back, I know that if I wouldn't have had that as my purpose statement without even knowing, I wouldn't be standing here today. I was able to turn one of the worst moments of my life into the best, and I know that all of you can do the same. Thank you, guys. Okay. Thank you for sending questions. This is cool. So the first question from, all of them are anonymous. When did you realize your idea could become an achievable project? So with F the Sun, as I mentioned before, it was honestly, as soon as I saw that it was the most preventable form of cancer, and that it was the most common form of cancer, I was like, okay, if it's the most preventable, I can at least try and prevent it. So I never thought that I was gonna actually create something. I thought it was gonna be something that I did in my spare time. But it happened. I realized it immediately. I knew I wanted to do something, and I think I was never scared of failing. I failed a billion times, I can tell you that. And it was just a matter of putting myself back up together and being like, you can do this. It doesn't matter what people think. Just go and be crazy in the world. There's only one life to live, so like, why not try it? I hope that answered your question, whoever that was. When you started, what was your biggest mistake? Well, to begin with, the first, as I told you before, I smuggled hats into the US. When you're selling stuff in the US, you have to declare it, and I literally just put it in my bag and shipped it as clothing. So I guess now looking back, that was a really huge mistake. Another mistake was maybe when I got diagnosed the second time, I let that affect me a lot, and I stopped things with F the Sun. And at that point, I was like, ugh, like, do I really want to do this? And I stopped for a couple months, and that kind of slowed down everything because I was full of energy at first, and I was like doing it and trying my best. And then somehow, I'm not a person that lets things get in the way of my mood and my energy. But for some reason, I just fell down, and I was like, oh, I don't want to do anything anymore. So I think that's one of the second mistakes. I think that if I would have probably taken a day to think back and being like, you can do this, like it was just the first time, and just tried it again, I would have been way farther ahead of where I am today. Even though I'm glad where I am, I think I could have been farther away. Is there more? How important do you think? So, I'm answering the top one. Because of the situation of the world and our ozone layer depleting, the UV rays in the world are getting stronger, and more places in the world are going to start seeing skin cancer popping up, places that probably didn't have it before, like Peru. 10 years ago, Peru didn't have the highest radiation levels in the world, but we have the biggest ozone depletion in the world, and so it's growing a lot. Also, we live in a time where someone told us that being tanned is a good thing. Who the hell said that? Who knows? But they made it fashionable, and I think that it might be tough to unhabit tanning for us, for the future, for the older generations, but I think we're in a time that if I teach kids really early on that their skin is more important than looking good in a picture, I think we're going to be able to help prevent a lot of this skin cancer problem that we're experiencing. Also, I don't know about you guys, but when I was younger, I didn't really pay attention to sun safety. It wasn't something that people spoke to me, or sunscreen was something that I didn't want to touch. I was like, I don't want to be gooey, and I never understood the importance. So I think that if we can teach kids that sunscreen is their friends, that maybe that gooiness is actually a fun thing and it's going to help them in the future, I think that's going to be great. And I think that's it. Any other questions? Maybe not from the phone? Okay. Oh, sorry. Yes, so we've connected with a brand. Actually, I think P&G might own one of those. But yes, we've connected with them, and we're going to start doing our tattoos. I don't know if you noticed, but our logo is very attractive. It's actually a sun with a flipping finger in it. So that green logo is going to start changing colors. But yes, great question. Anything else? Nope. Thank you, guys. Hope you enjoyed.
Hi again. Okay. Okay. So sophisticated, so glamorous. Okay, that was amazing. Just two things first before I speak about what Elian taught us, that it's very important. You were saying the air condition was just killing us all, so they just kind of solved that problem. I hope your better now. I just hope it doesn't start getting so hot. I start sweating and just melt right here, because that's not something you all want to see. But for now, we're fine. I hope you are. And just remind you that the app is for you to ask questions for our speakers, for the experiences, as you saw with Elian. And that's amazing. So I just wanted to say quickly, I'm really mind blown by the story Elian told us. I'm really into the skin protection. I've always been very concerned about this, because I have like many moles, and every time I have a new one, I'm like, alert! I have to see what this is, because it scares the crap out of me. So it's very important to be conscious about this. I hope you are more now that Elian told us the story. I love people that take their adversities and just fight and make them something good, something better. And speaking about people that overcome their struggles and make an adversity something positive, we have our next speaker. Her name is Sam Latif, and she is an inclusive design consultant at Procter & Gamble. Let us give her a really huge round of applause to her, please.
Good morning, everyone. Just wanted to thank the last speaker for sharing such a remarkable story. Well done, and I hope we can all take some of what you have into our everyday. So thank you very much. So I wanted to say good morning, everyone.
Hi, I'm Sam.
No, not yet.
And I have a...
Stop. Sorry. Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to let you know, do you all know, can you all see me? Do you know that I can't see you? I'm blind, I can't see you, so I need to hear you. So we'll try this again. Good morning. Good morning. Wow, this is good, thank you. So I just want to share with you my story of how I've got my dream job at Procter & Gamble. So we play the video?
Hi, I'm Sam, and I have a dream for P&G. A long, long time ago, as a little girl, I loved to see beauty, but I became blind. I couldn't read or write, but then one day, life changed.
I am Jules, and I have a dream.
I got a computer which talked, and from that moment I realised that technology could change your life. I devoted my working life to technology until I became a mum. I realised that the little things that we use daily, created by P&G, actually can better improve the life of consumers, even more completely than P&G leadership realised. So I set off on a mission. I wanted to make our products easier to find, easier to lift, to open and to use. I wanted to just make the everyday use of our products irresistible. We've made a big difference. I'm living my dream, I'm making my dream come true. This is all thanks to the senior leaders in the company and all the passionate individuals I'm working with daily. These guys have given me the freedom and responsibility to help shape our products, our packaging, our advertising, so that it's more inclusive for our consumers and our employees who are aging or have disabilities.
Hi. Okay, so I have a quiz and I need you to shout out the answers. So how many people do you think in Spain live with sight loss? $1 million, absolutely. And how many people in Spain have a disability? How much of the population have a disability in Spain alone? 8.5 million. And, you know, and how many of, I'm going to ask this question, how many of you are designing your products, your packaging, your events for this 8.5% of the population? So just wanted to give you a food for thought. My PowerPoint's just crashed. So I'll just carry on.
Okay. Okay, now you have this slide where it says 8.5.
Yeah, next one.
The next one is let's talk about journey.
So I wanted to take you on a journey. Just do the slides without me. So I wanted to share with you my journey growing up, my journey, how technology has impacted me on my journey. So first of all, I was diagnosed at the age of 5 that I was going to become blind as a teenager. And it didn't really register when I was 5 years old what that really meant. But I was given my first piece of technology, which was a pair of glasses that you can see on the screen. Now, I have something called tunnel vision, which means that I only can see through a small, narrow, very blurry tunnel. Do you think glasses that enlarge the text, if you have to read or to enlarge things, would help someone like me? It didn't. So I used to look over the top of my glasses and pretend I used to use them. My next journey with technology was at the age of 16. So when I was 16, one day in class, I just discovered that I could no longer read anything anymore. My tunnel had become so small and so blurry that I could see the words, but I could not read them anymore. And I actually didn't even know that I was blind for a few days, because to me, blindness was black, but my world isn't black. My world is bright, blurry, and I use my imagination a lot, so I could see in my head. But at that time, I'm of a generation where Google didn't exist, so I didn't know if this was normal. I didn't know how to read or write anymore, and so we used, I was introduced to these cassette players. Has anyone seen this cassette before? Yeah. So my teachers used to record information onto the cassette, and I used to try and listen back to it. But what do you think the problems could be if you had to use a cassette to get your information instead of Dr. Google? I'll just tell you a few. Well, first of all, you can't highlight things and bookmark things and find things. So every day I would have to rewind, fast forward to find the right bit that I was looking for. And I used to damage the cassette. So it was useful, but it was very difficult to use. Then the next big impact with technology was when I went to university. So I grew up in Scotland, and I went to my university, and they had initially rejected me from university. They said, we don't take blind people, we don't want to discriminate, it's just that we don't think we can make you successful. And I just negotiated with them and said, please just give me a chance. It doesn't matter. If we fail, we'll fail together. And if we do well, we'll do well together. And they gave me a chance to do this. And so when I was at university, the first year, I had to verbally speak out my answers when I was writing assignments and ask my lecturer to write. What do you think might be difficult about that? I'll tell you just one example. Sometimes the lecturer would say, are you sure you want to write that answer? It's very wrong. But then in my second year of university, I got introduced to JAWS. JAWS is a piece of software that goes onto any computer, and it starts converting the text into audio speech. And that, for me, was the first time that I felt very independent and confident, because I really didn't feel disabled anymore when it came to writing. I was able to independently write, but I still couldn't read because Google wasn't invented at that time, and all the information I needed for university wasn't in an electronic format. The next big turn in my life was in my working life, actually. It was with technology, and that was when the iPhone came along. Are you all aware of the iPhone? Yeah. So the iPhone was really revolutionary. Why? Because who do you think, how can blind people use a flat screen phone? It's all flat, but you can. And with just pressing this home button 3 times, it can be so accessible for a blind person. It's unbelievable. And that really, really changed my life. And it really made me realize for the first time that no longer do I need to buy things that were specialist for disabled people, talking watches, talking calculators, talking dictionaries. I can do all of that on my inclusive iPhone that everybody else had. I felt part of society. I felt like one of you guys, and that was so amazing for me. And then I thought, why not bring this into my daily work? Like, why can't we bring this to Procter & Gamble? We make consumer goods. We make products that impact billions of consumers every day. You know, whether it's shampoo, Head & Shoulders, Pantene, whether it's Pampers, whether it's, you know, Gillette, we're touching consumers every day, but are we touching those percentage of consumers that have disabilities? And so that's when I went on a mission to actually highlight the business potential to Procter & Gamble and their senior leadership to say, this is something we need to do, not only because it's every human's right to access our products easily, but also it makes business sense. And so I was very lucky to get into this job that I'm doing as an inclusive design consultant. It's a new role, white space for the company, and I think we're doing, you know, we're on the journey and we're doing really well. So I wanted to give you an example of what this might be like. So does anyone know how to make your advertising inclusive? I want you to experience what it's like to see one of our ads from the eyes of someone like me. So in some of your chairs, you will have some masks. I'm going to play the next video. I'd like you to watch that video and from my eyes.
Let's give 1 second while they put it on. Everything is perfect, yes. Each slide you have set perfect. 1 second.
Okay, so we'll play this ad. Please tell me what you think it is. Nice music, huh? Do you want to see the ad now? From someone like me, if advertisers only made it inclusive, like I'm going to demonstrate.
A tiny baby sleeps peacefully, with a drip attached, her eyes open narrowly. A nurse talks to the mother as the father leans anxiously on an incubator looking at the baby. A Pampers premature nappy is put on the baby. Every day is a fight when you arrive early. And we're proud to be in your corner. The premature baby is driven home fit and well. The only premature nappy donated to hospitals, Pampers.
And I'm really delighted. Was that helpful? Yes, very good. I'm absolutely delighted that Procter & Gamble in Spain is the first advertiser to start making our advertising more inclusive for that 1 million people in Spain who can't see. Let's take a look.
Hugo el culebrilla contra María Mano Rápida en el combate de cambio de pañal.
De día, en un salón, María, a gatas, intenta poner el pañal a Hugo. Él se escabulle sobre la alfombra evitando que se lo ajuste.
Presentamos Dodot Pants, el pañal braguita con cintura elástica, más fácil de cambiar, que aguanta hasta 12 horas seco. Dodot Pants os lo pone fácil.
So I just wanted to finish with one thing. No matter what industry you go and work in, no matter what you make, please remember to make it inclusive so it helps everybody and people like me. Thank you.
Let me get the...
that was amazing. Seeing the advertising, like somebody that has that disability, I just goosebumps. I feel those things very much, and I've always been like, I don't know. It's just, it makes me feel so. I have like a knot in the heart when I see things like this, because it's just so true that we sometimes don't make things easy for people that have disabilities, and it's just such an amount of people that does have it, like deaf people or blind people, and they're normal people, just normal people, but they don't have it. It's not easy for them, just not easy. So I'm really thankful for Sam to sharing her story. It was amazing. I'm so pleased to see people that just make their adversities just something big to fight for their dreams. It's like you don't surrender, you just fight. Blessed to see these things. I'm just amazed. And I would hope to be just as brave as they are, just like half of it. Amazed. And then I have to tell you something. Do you think the model of education that we have is gonna like evolve in some years? Like, what do you think of our models of education? Well, we're gonna learn about it now. You can ask questions, through the app, so they can answer questions afterwards. It will be like over there. Now there's nothing, but it's gonna be over there. But before we introduce our next speakers and the experience, I'm gonna introduce you all, the head of strategy at Pangea, Kenza Buzova, who will be moderating all of the panels. And just let me introduce you this amazing experience so you can learn about our education models and have a really good time. Just give them a round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I am so happy to see you all here, really. Third time we are in Unleash. I know some of you, I've seen you, and you've been here before. Some of you, it's your first time experience, so I really hope you're enjoying it. I'm delighted, really, to be with you all here today. So we're going to be tackling a very important subject, the future of education, the future of learning. So we all know, it's changing. We are different learners. So let's talk about really what's going to change in the era of education. So before we start, and since I'm going to be moderating most of the panels during these 3 days, I really just want to give you a very quick advice, which is given to basically every entrepreneur. Is basically, please just ask questions. Take advantage of the fact that you're here, that we're all together, we're part of the same family, the same Pangea community. So please ask questions and do not hesitate. Don't set yourself for a loss, set yourself for a win, and ask questions. So I'm going to welcome to the stage Pablo Moreno-Ger, Vice Dean for Academic Affairs at UNIR. Rafael Gonzalo Corral, co-founder of the Power MBA. And finally, Biagio Di Leo, Country Manager of Southern Europe at Babel. Welcome to the three of you. Thank you for being here. I think this is going to be very interesting. You have all very different backgrounds, and you're doing extremely exciting things. So since I said also before that we're different learners, so we like everything to be immediate, fast, and quick, we're going to try to make this panel also very interactive and quick. So I'm just going to ask you to briefly introduce yourself. Who are you? Where do you come from? And in one sentence, what does your organization do? Okay? Can you do it? Go ahead.
Hello, everybody. I'm Biagio. I'm from Italy, but I live in Berlin now, where I work for Babel. How many of you here know what Babel is? Raise your hand. Oh, that's good. Very good. So I had to spend less words to say what Babel is. We are an app for learning languages. We are based in Berlin. We are 10 years. We are 10 years old. We have more than 1.5 million customers around the world, and so we get a lot of data on how customers want to learn and how to adapt our next product.
Great. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rafa. I'm from Madrid. I'm 37. And I'm co-CEO and co-founder of the Power MBA. I'm not going to ask him, as he did, how many of you knows the Power MBA, because we are only 11 months. And we are here to change the rules of executive business education. Nevermore, you will never have to pay thousands of euros to learn about business. And we all know that learning about business is tough. You should take many months. Well, we are very focused in micro-learning, 10 minutes a day, and learning only from very special people, successful entrepreneurs or successful executives, like the CEO of LinkedIn or the CEO of Glovo, Wallapop here in Spain, and that's what we do.
Thank you, Rafael.
And I am Pablo. I am the Vice Dean for Academic Affairs at the School of Computer Science and Engineering at UNIR. UNIR is a very young 100% online university. We offer over 100 official degrees in Spanish mostly, and we have roughly 40,000 students in Spain and Latin America.
Excellent. Thank you, Pablo. So I'm going to ask you the first question. I'm sure you agree with me that technology is radically going to transform education. And we could go on for hours talking about, well, how AI and VR is going to enhance the learning experience, how big data is going to personalize your learning experience, the same as, for example, Netflix does it today, or how mobile can make education accessible for anyone, anywhere, anytime. So this is really exciting and very disruptive, yet only a few institutions, few universities, and few organizations are taking advantage of these disruptive technologies, since it's really difficult to implement them, and the adaptation takes time, obviously. But on the other hand, we as a generation, we're said to be the most prepared generation ever. We are very capable of learning very fast, so there's like a mismatch of rhythm, let's say, in that sense. So since university and schools are not the only way now we have to learn, we have the internet, I could go on for hours talking about the different means we have. We are different learners, we are makers, we just learn by ourselves. So how do you imagine our children as learners in the future? How are we going to be?
So these future learners, and actually not that future learners, the ones that we are already receiving, you are demanding more adapted education. You just mentioned, we are fast learners, maybe fast learners for some topics, maybe we are very interested in some topics and less interested in some others. So we are going to need an education that combines informal learning scenarios, but also formal learning at a university, provided that those universities can manage giving the students this flexibility to learn without having to adhere to rigid structures and timetables and everyone spends the same amount of time each place. They are going to be demanding a more flexible education. And we need to support that with technology. And you mentioned all the right keywords. We need technology support, we need AI, we need big data, we need to do all that stuff. And we need, on the one hand, universities, but only universities that are going to be able to prepare to that change and to be ready for that change in how the learners come. And then we are going to need another area of informal learning that will be able to also complement and give students whatever they're not finding where they're looking for it.
Very interesting, thank you. So, Rafael, I must say honestly, when I heard about the Power MBA, I fell in love with the platform. I thought it was super interesting, and really the perspective of the platform is very different from what we see in other traditional MBAs, because you really focus on the practical experience of businessmen and women to really share their real-life experiences, what they've been through actually, not just focusing on the theory. So we were talking about the future learners. What do you ask from these future teachers, let's say?
Well, we agree with all what you said. We think that people now need to know things very very fast and very quick. And traditional teachers are not used to this. They are not used to this. Not all of them, but this is something that we have detected. So, in order to try to improve all this area, we have in the Power MBA people who is teaching our speakers are persons who are now transforming sectors. They are now rolling as leaders, and they are very generous, and they share with us the most important things of life. Life is not theory. Theory is important, but it's more important to try to try to avoid the mistakes that they have done. They share with us, and they also give us their tips and their vital experience, because to be an entrepreneur or to lead a big company is not only about having the capabilities or the knowledge. You have to have many other things, and this is what they share with us.
I totally agree. Thank you. So, Biagio, you work in Babel, very interesting platform to learn languages. Learning languages isn't something very new. However, you found the way to make it really innovative. Your platform is one of the 50 most innovative companies, as named by Fast Company, for example. And I'm sure you compete, obviously, with other platforms, but what makes it so innovating? How do you innovate in learning languages?
Sure. A little premise with this, when it comes to learning language, it can be fast. Rest assured that learning a language requires time, requires some effort. No, for example, when you see someone that says in 5 days you can learn German, don't trust them. I mean, 1 year that I'm in Germany and still can speak Deutsch, whatever. No. So, although I'm using Babel, you know, it's a difficult language, so it's complicated to get with them. But the learning language, it can be interesting, can be fun, can be interactive, can be effective, and that's how we set our innovation targets. And to do that, we look at one and only KPI, and this our learners. We have part of our mission saying what matters to learners matters to us. So we, having also all these customers, for us it's important to get the feedback from them, from the learners, and try to stay at the pace of what they want in terms of interaction, in terms of new content, in terms of different ways of learnings. We have 100 plus experts of didactics in our company that do this every day. So talk with customers, get their feedback, improve the product. And this is how we do innovation, and this is how you get that good, let's say, reviews from Fast Company. Yeah.
Great, thank you. So I think with the three of you, we have like the keys of the future of learning, because obviously you mentioned a very user-centered innovation and a very user-centered methodology to learn languages, which is very interesting. You mentioned a very practical experience for the learner and a very practical learning for all those that are part of your platform. And lastly, obviously, technology, which is supposed to support all of this. So I think we have a very interesting mix here. So we're all here want to launch our projects. We are entrepreneurial. We would like to know how is it like to be leaders in the greater sense. So this is a question for the three of you. How do you think that education should train us as leaders? What is missing? If you had to say something that is missing now, and or that education should foster more in order to train and grow leaders, what would that be?
Should I go ahead? For us, well, first off, I would say that probably most universities are not really prepared to be fostering that kind of leadership. Mm-hmm. They have to adhere to this formal training in which there is usually little space for that. But there's a space for doing that from the university. We've been forced to do it because, as I said, we are an online university, which means we don't get kids right out of high school. What we get is highly trained professionals who are already working and they just want to move up on their companies, probably to management positions. And we've been feeling from the beginning that pressure for going into leadership. And that's why we try from the university to complement all the basic training on the key competences that students are looking for, but also to imbue them with this additional set of leadership skills that they're going to be needing. It's challenging, but it's definitely feasible, and we are being able to do it, and I guess universities are going to have to adapt and be able to also provide that kind of training, because our students are demanding that because they are already highly trained professionals, but that's moving backwards. I mean, students are demanding that leadership training earlier and earlier on their careers, and so many universities are going to need to wake up and just focus on that.
Thank you.
Well, if you want to be a leader in industry, or you want to be an entrepreneur, in my opinion, I would say, please learn about business. Not because we are a business school. It is because when you learn about business, you will be able to detect the opportunities, and you will have many more chances to have success. I would say that you have to be honest, totally honest, with yourself and with your customers, and recognize when you are not doing the things well, and try to think on their interests and not only in yours. And I would say that you have to be in love with them. You have to love your customers. You have to try to talk to them every single time as they do. You have to have your ears totally open. Please don't fall in love with your idea. Your idea is yours, but probably doesn't matter to your target audience. And you are only there to try to provide your customers what they want. And be very honest with your team. Try to make them grow. Be committed with them. Give them chances. And try to create a culture and a kind of leadership very focused in service. Try to help them. Don't think that your team is working for you. You should be working for your team, and you should be working for your customers.
Thank you very much.
Well, if I can add something to what they said, is that I think that education, and what we should do also, is to help everybody to keep the sense of curiosity always awake. It's important for a leader to be curious, to look for the next thing, to see what else can be done for the customers in that area. Second, I would say be open to diversity, open your eyes to whatever is different from what you think. Is where you find a lot of information that you could never imagine. And I talk about every kind of diversity, from gender, religion, different abilities, whatever it is. It's important for us always to have an eye open on these diverse perspectives. And finally, something that is very dear to me, learn a language. It's important, opens a lot of words that you never imagined that you can experience.
Great, thank you very much. So to summarize, curiosity, being in love with your customers and really not falling in love with your idea, and lastly, having a practical experience, constantly being really challenged and training your leadership skills. So now it's your turn. We're taking questions. Well, let's see if there's any question from anyone. Do we have any questions? Anyone curious about the future of learning? Okay, so I think this is it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So that was very interesting. learning things about learning. It's like the meta-learning. Well, it's very interesting. Do you know what I would always wanted to learn, and I'm terrible at it? Magic. When I was little, I wanted to be a magician. My mom bought me this box that told you, be a magician. No, it's not true. I did it horrible. My mom would pay me just to not do magic. That's true. But you know who does magic like super amazing? Our next artist, his name is, what's your name? Alvaro Albadalejo. And he's just gonna dejar you, he's gonna amaze you with his magic, so give him a super, super applause.
Okay. This. Okay, my name is Alvaro Albadalejo, and I'm a magician from Barcelona. My English is very basic, but let's try. For example, you say any card. Well, say your favorite card. Your favorite card. Poker deck. Sorry? King of Hearts. Okay, but this is your favorite card. Now, say any card you want, any card you like. Spades, 7 of spades. Okay, I'm a magician, but I'm a special magician. I have the control of all your decisions. Your card is 7 of? Your card is 7 of spades. Okay, look this. No more cards. 7 of spades. Okay, now I need 3 volunteers. Any volunteer? My assistant chooses, please. Up. Okay. Come on. Nice to meet you. What's your name? Chen. Danny and Cristina. Okay. I have 4 packets. Okay. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. What packet do you like, Danny? 4? Okay, for you. What packet do you like? 1. For you? 3? Okay, for you. No, Chen. Don't run. Okay. In one of these packets are 15 euros. Okay, now. In this moment, you can change the packet with me. Any? Yes? Sure? Okay. Any more? And you, Cristina? Any? Okay. I say I have the power of the control all of your decisions in this show. In my number 1, in my packet, ahí está. Are 15 euros. Open your packets. 15, open your packet. 50. Open your packet. Open your packet.
Oh, no.
Oh. Ok, un aplaudimiento para ellos. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Ya podéis bajar. Adelante. Okay, now, I need any 4 volunteers, and my assistant choose this. Please? 4 volunteers more?
Oh.
Okay. Please explain this.
Okay, so there are 4 notes right here. Each note has 4 items on them. The items include 1 tie, suspenders, underwear, and socks. So what we'll be doing is each grab a note, and there's 7 colors. They can each choose a color, and they could write what color they want next to the item. Here you go. See, un color como rojo, azul, amarillo, and any kind. Yeah, any color you want. I think those are the colors right there.
Okay. Which these colors? Look this.
After they write what colors they want on the note,
no, but
all the notes will be put inside a bag.
Look these colors and select 4 and write this. Okay?
So next to each one you write a color. Yes, any color you want.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Okay. Finish? Yes? Okay. I have a bag, and put in this bag the, one moment, the poppers, okay? Okay. Yes. Shuffle. And what's your name?
Thomas.
Thomas, compañero. Nice to meet you, Thomas. Select one paper. No look. Select 1 paper, okay? And open this. Open. Okay. Ahora, put the colors and write. Cógelos. And come on with me. And in this beautiful draw, say en voz alta lo que pone and write. Okay? Okay. Pinta por aquí. For example, ¿el rosa cuál es? The tie. Okay. Okay. Sí. Red. Tirantes, sí. De toda la vida. Okay. More.
Blue, the underpants.
Blue underpants. Okay. And finish. Green the socks. Okay. Very beautiful. Okay, you write 4 colors and select one of this paper. This is your draw. And before the show, I have 1 post on my Instagram, okay? This is my Instagram, Illusion Alvaro, and my prediction of this draw is in Instagram. Everybody take the phones, everybody? Take the phones, okay? And Illusion Alvaro. And in my last post, yes or no? Yes? But this is not all, because the people think, oh no, this is hack, this is your hack in this moment. I know que pondrías esto because I control all of your decisions, and look this. Eso es. But, for finish, in the, well, before you say your favorite card, and this deck only time is in the sofa. Say your card. King of Hearts, okay. Look this. In this deck, one can turn off. And this is King of Hearts. Thank you. Un aplaudimiento. ¿Qué dice, niño? ¿Cómo estás?
Okay, thank you very much, Alvaro. I really love your English. I hope you can teach me, because you are amazing. Your Span-English is beautiful. And I really love your outfit. I think you should put it in some fashion Instagram account or something like that. You're beautiful. But it isn't that amazing. I'm just like mind blown. I love magic, but I'm really horrible at magic. But I really love the people that can actually do this stuff. I think it's amazing. But we have to move on. And even though one day I'll learn how to be a very good magician and with a better English, I hope. Now and then I'm gonna introduce you the next experience. I present you to Irene Viñal and Elena Muñoz, and they're gonna teach us everything they imagined and how with Cepsa it became reality. So please give them a really huge applause to this beautiful woman.
Cepsa is more than you imagine, and I want my story to prove it true. You are a recent graduate in physics, and you are dreaming of a job in a company that provides you with opportunities for a fruitful career. Then you run into Cepsa, and they say, you know what? We'll hire you, but even more, prior than that, we want to sponsor you for your master's studies. Well, that sounds great. That's not gonna be easy. You know that, right? They say. But I don't care. I'm ready for whatever comes. Master in Geophysics, Colorado School of Mines, Denver, Colorado, USA. The dream came true. I spent 2 years in Colorado, being thankful every single day for the opportunity Cepsa was giving to me. I learned from the best professionals and professors, getting a deep insight into the oil industry and getting ready for the career that was waiting for me at my return. But honestly speaking, the technical knowledge was only a small part of the whole experience. Living in such a different culture, being surrounded by people from all over the world, made me become a better version of myself. More tolerant, more patient, more grateful, and more free. Then everything comes to an end and time to go back home arrived. So some tears, some laughs, and many promises of never forgetting all I learned and everyone I met. I thought the adventure was finishing, but another one was about to start. 2015 and oil prices were crashing. No good times for the oil industry at all. No possibilities for new people to join. But hey, here is one of Cepsa's strengths. It's not all about oil, but a combination of many departments what creates such a powerful group. They gave me the opportunity to reorientate my career in the petrochemicals and start working for the chemical department in the Netherlands. Another 2 years of unstopped adventure, learning, exploring, and growing. Cepsa is full of inspiring people performing very different jobs in many different countries, and they are all looking forward to sharing their knowledge with you. Yes, with you. And with you, and with you all who are passionate about life and everything it has to offer. To make a long story short, times change again, and new opportunities in geophysics came up, so I joined the Exploration and Production Department a few months ago. Back to the roots, and time to continue developing all the skills acquired during previous years. Cepsa wants you to shine, so they make sure they provide you with the tools and the opportunities to accomplish that goal. You just have to be fearless and get the courage to become the best version of yourself. Elena knows quite a lot about what I'm saying. She can also talk about courage. She can talk about decision and about taking the step when the opportunity shows up. So what does Cepsa mean for you, Elena?
Thanks, Irene. Living in 2 square meters for a few weeks in the middle of the Algerian desert was not something that I dreamed of when I was thinking what to study and choose as a career. 5 a.m., alarm sounds. It's Friday, and that means barbecue. I'm happy already. I put on my overall and safety boots and get out of the container where I sleep in. I'm in the middle of the desert. The rig is in the horizon, and right over the dunes, the sunrise happens in front of my eyes. It's in moments like this when I stop and realize how lucky I am to be working in this industry. I'm humble and excited to be here with you today, in front of such an amazing audience, and surrounded by inspiring professionals. I'm happy to share a bit of my story, with the hope that it inspires you not to give up, to work hard toward your dreams, and always believe in yourself. Early on my career search, and perhaps influenced by my dad, I decided to go to the oil and gas industry and study geological engineering. As I was finishing my degree, I came across Cepsa and embarked on an adventure that has brought me here with you today. As Irene, Cepsa gave me the opportunity to study my master's degree at Heriot-Watt University, Edinburgh, one of the most important universities for the oil and gas industry. Sounds good, right? That's not all. They also gave me the opportunity to travel all around the world, to the UK, Colombia, Algerian desert, Peruvian jungle. Contrary to what most people may think, being in a remote place, sleeping in a container, and wearing an overall the entire month have been one of the most rewarding experiences in my life. When you are at the field, you are surrounded by the same team 24/7. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, working hours, free time. The kind of relationship you made there go beyond working mates. Also, I have enjoyed getting to know the local people and learn about their culture. And of course, I love the adrenaline of being at the rig floor and get to see the operations in real time. I'm proud of being a woman and working as an engineer. Being a woman in this industry has never made me feel different and has brought me lots of fun anecdotes. I'm proud of Cepsa for its focus on diversity and for understanding that a diverse workforce makes better decisions and results in stronger outcomes. I work with a brilliant team of people that are passionate about what they do and give their best in every project. Cepsa is, to me, way more than I imagine. It's opportunity, it's technology, innovation, diversity. It's about people. To wrap up, I want to leave you guys with a quote from Walt Disney that says, "Think, believe, dream, and dare." I encourage all of you to keep thinking, believing, dreaming, and above all, daring every single day.
We want to keep building a company full of opportunities for every talent. We want to keep making Cepsa much more than you imagine.
So I'm very happy when women just like have this power and yes, happy. So it's amazing, really, how young women have come so far. We've been fighting for so long, and being able to see these kind of things where they are able to be in this amazing job, like in the positions they belong to, and being able to fit in and feel like one more in the team. I'm just blessed for that, because I think that we've not had this always, and we're starting to have it now, and it's amazing. Speaking about amazing women, which I love, let me tell you, imagine a situation where there are 10 women, all below the age of 26. They're even younger than me. That makes me feel old. And they are transforming the world, and just yesterday they presented their proposals for a program called Equality, that sounds amazing, developed by Sodexo and Pangea. I have a better idea. Instead of introducing them, they're gonna do it themselves, because they can tell you better what they do, and we're gonna also introduce the moderator that's gonna be with them, Cristina. Give a huge applause for them.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Hello to everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you, and especially to present to you such an amazing project like Equality Love. I can welcome on stage Sebastián Molina, the Learning and Development Director from Sodexo, and three amazing young women, Mariana Quiroga, Jimai Samir, and Kenya Gonzalez. Welcome on stage.
good morning. I'm Sebastian. I'm working in Sodexo. Only a few words to introduce before Christina and the rest of the panelists. Well, as you have seen, Sodexo is a company that we provide different kind of solutions, of services, food service, catering, maintenance, cleaning, etc. So we are a multinational present in more than 80 countries. We serve each day 1 million or 100 million of people. We have more than 100 of jobs, different kinds of jobs. We are a company with more than 450,000 employees. So when we talk about diversity, in our case, is the DNA of our company. For us in Sodexo, we cannot grow if we cannot be inclusive and diverse. So in this sense, for us, diversity is very important. Like the companies that you have seen this morning, for us, we organize diversity in different kind of areas, disability, gender, sexual orientation. But for us, our priority is the gender. Why is a priority? Well, first of all, it's because it's something that is a social justice. It's not, I personally don't understand why one in the top positions we held the top positions 1 man to 4 women. So this is something that nowadays it exists, and this is not. We don't understand what it happened. And also because in Sodexo we have an internal study that we demonstrate that when you have a different gender balance in the teams between 40 and 60%, the teams are more engaged and we are more profitable. So in this sense, for us, gender is a priority. And this is why we decided to launch Equality with Pangea. And well, it's an amazing project that now you will see. But before I explain the project, I would like to show you a video that we launched the 8th of March, the International Women's Day. It's a short video because it will be very interesting before the panel. So let's see, please.
Our lives will drastically change in 200 years from now.
More women will go into space.
Like robots, like you see in movies.
Probably be able to walk into a phone booth and get a new heart or something.
I think everyone's going to have microchips in their heads.
Cars might fly.
I just think it's going to be surreal.
Sorry, we can start again with the video.
Let's try to watch it at the end, okay?
Okay, perfect. Let's go.
Can you leave with the microphone? Thank you very much. Thank you, Sebastian, for this introduction. And I believe what we have in common, P&G and Sodexo, is that really diversity is part of our DNA. And this is why a project was born a couple of months ago already, which is called Equality. And the idea of the project was, the goal of the project is to design innovative, different solutions to improve the quality of life of women, and it's a solution designed by women and for women. And so among 200 applications, we chose 10 outstanding young female leaders who are leaders in their daily lives in terms of transformation, in terms of improving, in terms of generating impact on society. We invited them all from different places around the globe to Madrid. They've been here Monday and Tuesday this week and working on identifying challenges, needs that women are facing in education or in corporate environments. And then they designed incredible solutions that they will now share with us. But before we go to hear about the ideas and solutions, I would like to invite them to present themselves so that you hear a bit more about their incredible background and the projects they're working on.
So hi everyone, my name is Shaima. I actually grew up in Morocco, but I live now in London. So I'm an entrepreneur. I started my first business when I was 19. I sold it and I started another business in education, which I grew. and started acquiring other businesses in the same industry and in the restaurant industry. So in relation to the topic that I was focusing on with my team, which was a woman in the workplace, I very much have experience working myself as an employee. So I worked in a hedge fund in New York. I worked in consulting in London. I worked for the UN in Geneva in Switzerland. And I also worked for a food company in Brazil, surrounded by chicken and ham all day. So I very much have experience working in not only in different industries, but in different workplace cultures as well.
Okay, can you hear me? Yeah. Hi everyone, my name is Mariana Quiroga Londoño. I was born in Colombia. And first of all, I want you to introduce all the things that makes me the girl I am today. The reason why I started thinking about how we can be that strong started when I survived from an earthquake in Colombia, and that's why I came here to Spain to find for a better life. Now I live in Barcelona. I've been living there my whole life, and I'm a pioneer in bioinformatics, of the degree of bioinformatics in Spain. I've been working for since I was really, really young in a lab in a biomedical research park of Barcelona, and then at the Hospital del Mar Medical Research Institute. And after fighting for being accepted in this kind of world full of men, I was accepted to start my own project at the University of Cambridge, based in regenerative medicine. And so I'm here today to encourage all those girls that have a difficult life and that came from different countries and different cultures that where they feel that are not really accepted. And so I'm very happy to be here, and thank you all of you for listening to me.
So hi, I'm Kenya, and I'm from Spain. I'm sorry, I'm boring. I'm 20 years old. I study biology and history. Yes, it's weird. Hold on, it's getting even weirder. I like to talk to people, and I like to travel. So yeah, sugar, you like to travel, okay. But then again, I try to combine that with my passion for education. I believe that education should be a lot more than just rock memorization, which is something I feel it's been really common here in my education in Spain. And that started changing when I went to Canada when I was in high school with a scholarship program, and then later on when I joined the university I go to. I go to this place called Minerva Schools. No, you have not heard about it probably, but it is interesting. It's based in San Francisco, so it's American, but we only spent a year in the US. They're trying to revolutionize education, and they're doing this in two ways. First of all, no memorizing. It's all critical thinking. It's pretty awesome. But then it gets even better, because they're trying to make us global citizens, make us think globally. And they're doing that by first bringing in people from all over the world, and I have amazing classmates for this, and then taking us to different parts of the world and making us experience what it is like to live there. So I've lived in the US, I've lived in Canada, but then last year I was living in South Korea and in India, and now I'm living in Berlin. I'll move on to Buenos Aires in January. It's super fun, super cool, a lot of hard work too. But it has inspired me to keep talking to people and keep learning, and that is my big passion.
Okay, wow, so you can imagine I was not over-promising when I said that these 3 young ladies and 7 more during 2 days have developed amazing solutions. So are you curious to hear about them? Yes, okay. I'd say we start with Mariana, because her and her team, they focused on the high school environment. They really tried to identify what are the challenges that young girls are facing at high school, and what can we actually do to overcome these challenges. So Mariana, what did you find out?
Okay, hi. I realized that there are 2 kinds of girls right now in high school. Those that feel that they really know what they want to do in life, and those that are completely lost. And we want to create an organization like a big festival with workshops and activities where they can really find themselves, and to give them that push towards the right direction, to keep looking for big intelligence they really like or they feel comfortable with, and those that they really feel lost or with a lack of orientation, so they can observe those that really have the ideas clear in mind. We really consider important the fact that there are different kinds of intelligence in the daily life, so we want to empower those girls to find the right one, to not to give up, and regardless their own story, the environment they have at home, at school, their respective countries and cultures, just as I did. Actually, my life changed one year ago when I started to participate in hackathons and things like that. I feel more comfortable with this kind of activities, but the people that surround me at my university or my friends, not all of them feel that the same thing I feel when I am here. So that's what I want to do with them. I want to tell them that everyone is able to think the way we all think here, that kind of like a sparkle that you have in your mind, like I want to change the world, and that's what I want to help them to find.
Wow. Okay, so these girls designed an amazing concept of a festival called Athena, called like the goddess, and really they designed the festival to give answer to both introvert and extrovert girls, different types of learning styles. So I'm sure she's going to be happy to give you more information afterwards, and we hope that it's going to become reality, maybe even next year. So then, this young girl, after high school, starts going to university, and this is where Kenya and her team really detected challenges and came up with also an amazing solution. Kenya, would you explain?
Okay, so in our team, we were talking about all these problems that young women have to face in order to enter the workforce, and not only enter it, but escalate, get a better position within it. And we realized that one of the reasons it's a bit harder for us is that we don't have the same kind of self-confidence that boys are taught to grow up with. We are taught to be perfect, not to take risks. We wanted to change that. We wanted to give young women the tools to be confident and to change the way they interact in order to get higher up in the business or in the whatever atmosphere they want to be in. So we were thinking, and we had an amazing team. Shout out to Elena, Carmen, and Nora for being awesome, because we designed an app, because millennials, where we would have different parts that we think will solve this. We'll give girls first the tools to communicate more effectively. So for instance, instead of saying, I think that this is the case, you will just say, this is the case. Or body language, meditation, all these kind of things. Moreover, we'll give them mentorship. We'll connect them to women who have already gotten there and help them get there with them. And then we will give them community. We'll give them a space to talk to other girls like them, other women, I should say, and to get wherever they want to go in a group, interacting effectively. We will call this app Rosie Up, because Rosie the Riveter, and Man Up, Rosie Up, so it sounded kind of good. And then we will try and get this app on campuses, but also to everyone who can get access to them. So we're pretty excited about that.
Okay, thank you. I really hope it's also going to be in reality, to be able to download this app very soon. And then, while this young lady starts joining the corporate environment, the workplace at some point, and then it's really getting complicated, and very complex set of problems, of issues, challenges that this young lady is facing. So Chema and her team, they've been working on this context, inspired also by mentors of Sodexo, L'Oreal, Procter & Gamble, all leaders in diversity who gave them their insights and the policies that they've already been implementing. So what did you find out, challenges and solutions?
So we definitely had a less sexy subject and topic, but our focus was on women in the workplace. And we sat down with my team and thought, what are the challenges that women are currently facing? And we actually had a lot of help from a lot of amazing women coming from different industries who came to us and told us their stories. And what seemed to be the common theme was that there was a lack of access to the same opportunities for both men and women in the workplace. So we sat down again and we thought, okay, how could that be solved if we were employees, for example, at Sodexo? How could we actually solve this? And what we found out is that that problem actually manifested in 3 ways. The first one was sexual harassment, the second one was pregnancy discrimination, and the third one was gender pay gap. So we sat down, and drawing from one of the ladies' experiences with the Happiness Institute in Coca-Cola, we thought, well, we could come up with the Gender Equity Institute, which would be an organization inside a company from employees, for employees, so we're also including men in the discussion, and in implementing really equal access to opportunities for both of them in the workplace. So for example, if we take the gender wage gap, sure, men are traditionally seen as the main providers, so that might actually, explain why they paid more, but what really is happening is that only 16% of women are actually going out there and asking for more money and negotiating more. So how would the Institute help? Well, we could give them or provide them with negotiation workshop and teach them how to actually ask for more, and that it's actually okay to discuss money with your employer. So yes, so that would be an umbrella solution helping us tackling each one of these issues. From a HR point of view and from a corporate point of view, this is actually very attractive as a model, because it doesn't only encourage co-creation, it encourages diversity and inclusion, which are very sexy themes nowadays in HR, and in turn, would help an organization attract more talent. So that's what we thought of.
Okay. All the HR people out there, they came up with an amazing concept. So don't miss the chance to talk to her afterwards, because I'm sure you're gonna love what they've been creating. So one thing I wanted to ask you, because it kind of shocked me when I heard you interacting with the mentors. They have like 10, 20, or sometimes 30 years of more experience than you girls have. And they said like, okay, the problems you're identifying, is this still such a big topic nowadays? Really? We've been trying to tackle these challenges for 10, 20 years, and it's still the same. So what do you think? Why is this the case? Why haven't we been able to solve like equal access to opportunities or like self-esteem among young women?
Okay, I think I always bring these kind of things back to the same topic. I feel education is key. So I feel we are getting there. There's been some steps, but there's still a lot of education left to do. And I think it's a longer process than we realize. But definitely going back to the basics and start it with the young kids, both girls, boys, and people non-binary, it's crucial to improve diversity and to just give them the tools to be in the future, I think, more inclusive than we are now. But we're definitely getting there, I think. I'm hopeful.
So maybe I'm a bit more business-minded, but I personally think that it's really good that we're all doing awareness campaign and voicing everything that we think is wrong with gender inequalities. But I think we really need to sit down and actually think about what we actually want. What is it? Do we need more money in the workplace? Do we need to be paid more? we have to really be concrete about what we want. And this program actually is really good, because it really, it put us in the situation of, okay, what is actually wrong and how could we solve it? And we want concrete solutions, not just really big campaigns and everything. So we really need to start acting more, but be more concrete.
Well, I think more or less as Kenya, I think the most important thing is to act directly at the beginning, from the very beginning with young people. I think the most important thing is the education, because if you want to change the mind of someone that is already not that young, let's say, it's more difficult to change their mind. So that's why we came up with the idea of focusing on how we can empower those girls to find the intelligence, their own education that they feel more comfortable with. And so maybe it's true that we have to make noise. I put the example previously about a piece of domino. If you throw one, all the rest will follow. So imagine if one of you make noise, the rest of you will will make noise too. So we have to empower women, we have to help them to empower others, and that's what I think.
Okay, wow. I don't know about you, but at least after the last 2 days seeing these girls in action, there is hope. I really think this new generation of young female leaders, you will be the ones to really generate an impact and produce real change. So before we close the panel, are there any questions from your side, from the audience, to these amazing young ladies? Okay, I guess you're hungry already. Then let's close the panel here and take the chance to talk to them whenever you can, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I feel like a proud mom when I see these things, even though I'm just 1 year older. But I feel like I'm proud, because I'm very proud of all women in general, because I'm proud what they're doing, what they're achieving, their attitude to their passions, what they want to get, what they want to achieve, their works, their careers. I'm just blessed to be living in a world where I actually can see this. I really agree with all of them that we have to make still many changes, but from where we were, I think we're very good, but we still can be better, and that's what we are fighting for. So I'm just really positive that we're gonna get there some point. I fight for new generations. I fight for the generation of my younger sister. She's 14, and I just hope I can joining these girls and every other girls that are my age, older women, every woman, to make a better place for her to be living in and to be working and growing in, so she can be happy, and all of the girls that are coming also. So that's what I think we should focus on, but I'm just very proud of these women and what they're achieving. And speaking about girl power, girls that achieve things, girls that are passionate about what they do, we have our next speaker. She's amazing. Her name is Sarah Bovy, and she's the first woman to ever race the Vantage GT3. I hear the word racing, and I just get tired, because I cannot run like a meter. I would like die. I have asthma, dead. Sarah, please welcome to the stage. Just talk about your experiences and give a round of applause for her.
Buenos dias, Madrid, woo! Yeah! Thank you, thank you. I always wanted to be a rock star. I missed it. Thank you very much for welcoming me today. I'm very proud and a bit stressed to be on stage in front of all of you. I'm much more comfortable at 200 kilometers per hour on a racing track. But anyway, I'm here. Today, I wanted to shortly introduce myself to you so you can understand a little bit what I'm doing and how I got here. And then I just wanted to share with you some idea I have about entrepreneurship and how to build your own business around your passion. Because I know that it's something that a lot of young people want to do, and it's not always easy to start. So, First thing, I'm a woman for 29 years, didn't change, not a very girly one, but still one. I studied marketing management because I was already doing racing for a few years when I got out of normal school. And I had a lot of issue to find some sponsor in racing. You know, you need some money at the beginning, a lot of it. And I decided marketing was maybe a good option to understand a bit better what the industry, what the big companies might look for when they are deciding to sponsor someone in racing or any other sport. And it was quite interesting. I learned a lot. And when I got out of school, I was already a successful racing driver. I was racing internationally, but I couldn't live from it. So I couldn't make money to pay for my invoice, my apartment, my car, and everything. So I needed a job. And I was recruited as headhunter for pharmaceutical industry. I did that for almost 5 years. I learned a lot in it. I don't know, maybe it's a business you know, it's something very common. I learned that when I started it. But the 2 last years, I decided that I had seen enough, and I wanted now to live fully from motorsport. So I started my own business. I will explain you which kind right after. So now I'm a businesswoman, and it's probably the most important thing if you want to launch something one day, is to have your family close from you. Family can be the family you were born in, but it can also be your friend, your close friend, can be your boyfriend, girlfriend, anybody that you can actually count on. Yeah, that's it. So, that's me when I was young. So as you can see, it was not easy all the way. But it's important. I wanted to show you that because that shows the path, that shows what I've done. This is my first cover when I was 12 years old. I was doing national go-kart, and I was very proud of it, but I was very disappointed by the picture. So, I told you earlier that I launched my own business. How do you make some money out of motorsport? Unfortunately, not very often by racing. Racing, you can live from it if you are in Formula 1 or if you are Le Mans winner or something like that. But that's a very, very high level of motorsports, very difficult to reach. I tried, I failed, but I decided that my life was not going to be a fail. So I decided, okay, let's find another way. And 3 years ago, I heard that Lamborghini, the car manufacturer, the Italian one, was looking for a woman. Looking for a woman to join their driver team, but also their instructor team. And I thought, okay, that might be me, Lamborghini, I like it, nice name. So I decided to just reach out with the big boss of Lamborghini Motorsport, met him, convinced him to try me one day on an event they have. It calls the Lamborghini Academia. And I started, that's the funny part. As a young lady, I started to explain to Lamborghini owners how to drive their car. I mean, Lamborghini, you know, the brand with the bull, like the most manly brand you can find. For me, it was very funny, and what is the funniest part is that they don't care. As long as you arrive there with confidence and that you're actually making them improving and having fun, they don't care that I'm a woman. I have been instructing for 3 years for Lamborghini. I'm traveling around the world everywhere. I have probably one of the best jobs ever. And I never, ever had a single problem with the fact that I was a woman. Not with the customers, not with the other instructor, not with the media or that kind of stuff. And I think that it's very, very positive for the future, because it's changing. We just had the panel about equality. It's a different world when you are talking about business and when you are talking about sport. But I think that the fact that these car owners, the most macho people you can find on the planet, probably are completely accepting that a woman is coming and tell them, you should do that to go faster. You should use your car like this and not like this. Well, it's great. It's great for the future, right? So, the killer question is, okay, but if tomorrow you have an idea, you have a passion for something, can be sport, can be music, art, whatever, but you want to start your own thing. Maybe you're 20, 22, you already have some trouble to pay for the insurance of your car. How do you invest in a business that you cannot build if you don't have the start? You're going to a bank and they say, okay, you don't have enough incomes, we cannot give you money for building anything. It's not easy. I had the same trouble. That's why, right now, the message I wanted to give for everybody here who has the same idea than I had when I was a 12 years old, it's difficult to say, little girl, I said to my father, I want to be a racing driver, and he told me it's going to be difficult. Well, if you want to build your own business, it's going to be difficult. It's not always going to be successful or not as successful as you want, but if you go on the internet, you will find hundreds of YouTube videos about motivational speech, about how to increase your business, how to speak in public, and that kind of stuff. But none of this video is telling you where to start. Okay, I got it. I have all the skills. I did the studies and everything, but how do I start? How am I making the machine moving? And that's the trickiest part. And I can only talk about my own experience, but in my case, I decided that I was sure about where I wanted to go, but I was able to take the time. I was young. I was lucky when I started single-seater. I was 15 years old. So let me some time. I'm 29 now, and I have 15 years of experience, so it's great. So where do I start? And that's when the reflection about the studies I decided to do, about the job I decided to do was important. As a headhunter, I learned a lot, really a lot, about sales. It's a human resource job, but you basically sell your service to your customer and to your candidates. So I learned a lot about it. And when I was meeting someone in an event, networking event like here, I could much more easily understand and ask the right question about the business of that person, what they are doing, and try to match their needs with what I could offer. So where did I start myself? Well, I started with the very, very bottom. And sometimes I was doing one step in front and two steps back. And that's part of the game. So the only thing, if you decide to start something, is don't put too much pressure on yourself. You can fail, you can take more time than expected, doesn't matter. I mean, if you believe in yourself, if you really want to do it, even if you don't have the talent, because talent is completely overrated. I have met hundreds of drivers with more skills than I had, more talent than I had. The only thing is, I was committed. I was committed with all the hard work, the passion, the sense of sacrifice. I was really into getting where I wanted to get, no matter how long it takes. Talent is something you can work on. And don't count on the luck. Normally there is a little animation, but anyway, so the luck is not what's going to bring you to the top of what you want to do. No, what's going to bring you to the top is confidence. Be confident in yourself, but not only in yourself. Don't be like completely closed for everything that your friends and family are telling you. I'm talking about confidence and trust you can put in other people around you as well. It's not because someone is not answering the way you would like them to answer, or because you cannot trust someone one day, that you should completely stop everything. Actually, it's more difficult to trust than not trust. So you need to place your trust in the right person, and if you make a mistake, try again. That's the only way. Try again and again. As I'm telling you, it's been 15 years I'm in racing, in motorsport, and it's only the second year I'm living from my passion. Some other driver, in 2 years, they are at the top. They are Formula 1. I don't know if you've heard about Max Verstappen. It's a driver from the Netherlands. 17 years old, Formula 1 driver. Wow. Should make myself feel like a bit shitty, right? But I don't care. I mean, good for him. I'm happy for him. But we cannot start with all the same, asset. We start from different place. I don't mind. I'm just happy for him and happy for me that I reached my target, and that's the message I wanted to bring you today is don't look too much on the side of what your friends from college and from school or, family is doing. Do your own thing, listen to people, try again. It's gonna be hard, it's gonna take time, and maybe one day you're gonna be successful. Maybe one day you will realize that what you wanted to do was not possible, but at least you would have tried. You don't have any regret. And just wanted, I don't know if, you are all around 25 years old in here, I think? So you have all read Harry Potter? You missed examination because of Harry Potter, right? I failed a few one because of him, so that's why I'm using this J.K. Rowling sentence to close a little bit my speech. It is impossible to live without failing at something. I'm here to witness that. Unless you live so consciously that you might as well not have lived at all. Yeah, if you don't try, if you don't trust yourself, if you don't take risk, if you don't fail, but basically you're not living. In which case you fail by default. I think it's a great quote from her. I really like it. So I hope my message today was full of positiveness, and I really hope that maybe that can help a few of you to launch their own thing. I would like to thank you for your time and attention, and if you have any question, I'm happy to answer it. Oh, okay, I understand, sorry, I didn't say that. So is Sarah Bovy a talent believer, hard work believer, or both? Well, as I said, I'm more a hard work believer. Talent is helping, for sure, but it's not all of it. From your experience, what would you tell people who feel like they don't have a specific vocation? That's a good question. That's a very good question. I like to tell that story. I have a little sister, her name is Julia, and she's the opposite of me. She is 6 years younger, and she doesn't like sports. She was not all the time very good at school, and she was wondering, it's not easy to grow with a big sister who is doing so much noise as I'm doing. And my parents were a bit worried at some point because we were like, okay, but Sarah is on her way. She knows what she wants to do, but what about Julia? What is she going to do in the next 10 years and everything? And basically, she is now at university. She is living by herself. She has 2 jobs to pay for her apartment. She is really a hard worker. And she still don't really know what she wants to do. But I have absolutely zero stress about that, because I know that she's a smart girl, she has a good group of friends, she has a family around her, and one day she will figure it out. Again, give yourself some time. It's not because you are young and you have potential that you need to have a focus, that you need to have a target. It might come later. Maybe one day you will come to one of these conferences, or you will have a dinner with friends, and something will pop out. I was lucky. At 12 years old, I knew what I wanted to do. My little sister is not the same case, but seriously, don't put too much pressure on you about that. You are all young, and it's going to come later. Anyway. Oh, thank you very much. Very nice. All right, I think I've answered the question here. All of you are okay? Okay, so thank you very much for your time.
Hi. So thank you, Sarah, so much. I'm just blessed for so many amazing women we're having today. And really, I like sports, but I'm not good at sports at all. Just one thing, in 10 minutes, we're gonna go have lunch, we're gonna have snacks, soda, it's one more, and we're leaving to the break part, the festival part. Just so you know, so you can stay and hear our last speakers before we go to the break, and after we'll continue with this amazing day we're having of this knowledge we're all getting from these amazing speakers. So, do you all know how different the bank was 50 years ago? I don't, because I'm 27. It's old, but it's not that old, so I'm cool with that. How different will it be in another 50 years? I don't know. I'm not like in the bitcoins and stuff, you know. I have no clue. I don't know things about this. So I'm really like into learning about these things. Please help me give a super warm welcome to Cecilia Bonet and Alberto Torres from BNP Paribas in Spain. So please.
Hello, is it working? Yeah. Hello everyone, it is very, very nice to be here today with you all. Actually, we are not gonna talk, in fact, of the way banks is gonna change, but we're gonna talk about change in general, okay? So, we are here to give our vision on why things change. I would like to start by reading a little text that I like very much. It says, superficial things change, profound things also change, the way of thinking changes, everything in this world changes, over time the weather changes, the shepherd changes his flock, and thus everything changes, so it's not strange that I change. Wonderful, right? This is something Mercedes Sosa wrote in 1989. That means 29 years have passed. Since then, that's a long period of time. Since then, international politics has changed, and ways of working, and business models, and hairstyles, they have changed too. And even the look of your garden in your neighborhood, that changed too. And the way you all eat bread, it changed. It changed because, very simply, the baker and his way of making bread, it changes too. So, in this point that we are saying that the most superficial things and the most profound ones, everything changes. What is behind all of that? What do all these changes have in common? Okay, this is very, very, very simple. There was always people deciding to change things. There was always at least one person or several people deciding to change something for the rest of the people. And okay, it doesn't matter how big or how small was the change, everything had an impact, and everything is very, very important at its level. It doesn't mind if it's the way of making bread or the gardens or the change in the companies. Everything is important. And in this point, please let me be really honest and straightforward with you all, that you're very young. It's your turn. It's your turn to make a decision. It's your turn to decide what you want to do for the world. What are you going to change for the rest of the people? So, I think, well, you're going to meet today artists, you're going to meet social activists, and you're going to meet young entrepreneurs in this event. And you're going to see all these people are change agents, like me, like Cecilia, and like you are. We all are change agents. So, well, you need to know that I do play the guitar, and I like taking pictures also, and I think Cecilia, she likes also playing the guitar. But luckily for you, it's not for playing the guitar that we are here. We're going to talk about changes in companies. Is that right?
Yeah, you're right, Alberto. We are going to avoid you that 4 moments of our playing the guitar. No, what we wanted to tell you today also is that even though you may feel differently, large companies changes, even banks can change, and this is a little bit what we're going to explain you today. And again, like Alberto was saying, behind all these transformations, we have people making decisions, we have professionals leading the change, and people like you, people like us, very normal people, but just people taking the drive on the change. Let's be honest, in large companies, in a very historical bank, BNP Paribas has more than 100 years of history. Sometimes changing may be difficult. It takes time, it takes a lot of energy, but what is also true is that first, we all have impact in the organizations where we are, whatever the position, whatever your role, whatever the size of the organization, we all have impacts, we all have influence on where we are living. And the other aspect of the large companies is that it takes time, it's difficult, but when you succeed, it has an enormous repercussion. Everybody knows, and your satisfaction is proportional to the effort you have put there. So I really think, and I've been living that, it's a very intense experience. Time for me to introduce myself. I am Cecilia Bonet. I'm head of the BNP Paribas group here in Spain. I've been working with that group for 30 years, going through many, many, many businesses and some different countries. I just wanted to give you a very simple examples of how from one very small unit, or not that small, but from a business unit of all these very large organizations, you can change the world. I used to work in the insurance business of BNP Paribas, and I took a decision. I made a decision. Well, you know that in the insurance, there's a very poor moment, a very poor experience, which is when you ask the insurance to pay you for a claim, right? I think we are all gone through that experience, and generally it's a very poor experience. So I said, now, we have to transform that in an incredible experience, a very positive experience. We mobilized all the team around that, and we have, in very few months, we have done that on true customers, and in very few months, we got amazing, amazing results. Customers to whom we had denied the claim, the repayment, the cover, they were just sending us flowers and telling us that we were incredible. So this is I think a very good example of how you can change things. In another area where I was, in car leasing, again, very structured, you know, you have the front office, the back office, the accounting, the operations, etc. We just decided that our customers had to have an excellent response, because generally in these organizations, it takes time until you give an answer to the customer. Very simple idea. We sat people from different areas all around the same table. Very simple idea, very simple decision. We have had a change in the response to the customers. Everybody wanted to copy us. Well, we made an incredible story around that. Fantastic, fantastic initiative. I will obviously continue these experiences, but well, Alberto, you are working in other areas of the company. Maybe you can give us more examples.
Yes, in fact, I'm not a country head, of course. I don't have the Cecilia experience and Cecilia's career path. I wish I had. But at my level, that I'm a communication specialist in BNP Paribas Personal Finance, which is a subsidiary, an affiliate of BNP Paribas. And even with these poker face in pictures, I do change things also. I'm also a change agent. So, for example, it's sure this is the work of a team. I'm not the only one. But I did change the way we communicate from our company. I can say I changed the way we used to work in social media too. And today nowadays I'm in Paris in a short assignment mission for 6 months, a very, very nice experience. I'm helping to change the employer branding of our company, which is really, really great. And as a simple question of generations, I'm also changing daily the way some older workmates think and the way some older workmates work. The same way they are changing me too, because of course there are things and there are ways of thinking and doing in older generations that are much better than new ones. But this is also a way of changing. I think, Cecilia, you still have 2 more examples to give in.
Well, just a last message to start closing our speech, that large companies also can change the world if somebody, again, we have somebody making the decision to do so. 2 very concrete examples in our organization. First, our group is extremely committed with sustainability, energy transition, and we have signed the United Nations objectives around that, and putting a lot of money in financing that project. And a very recent example, which I think is also very, very nice, just last week, our organization signed an agreement with an organization that is representing 200 million workers around the world. And the purposes of this agreement is to give a certain number of very, very ambitious, but what we think fundamental matters, going through human rights, social environment, equality. We're talking earlier of gender equality. This is very key. So, but the very incredible thing there is that as BNP Paribas employees, we are almost 200,000 employees around the world, we will all be able to contribute to these projects, to the NGOs, within our work time, and being sustained by the company. So, again, we have people making decisions. We have, like Alberto, myself, people willing to do things, willing to change things, and we have also fantastic opportunities to do that inside those groups.
And so, coming back to our original idea, there is always people deciding to change things. What is coming for you is wonderful, that you are very young, because you are going to be the ones, again, changing international politics. You're going to be the ones changing business models and ways of working, and you're going to change again the hairstyles, and you're going to change again the look of the garden in your neighborhoods, and of course you're going to reinvent the recipe of the bread, and we're going to change our way of eating bread, just simple as that. But you all are going to change communication. You are going to change the energy we use. And you're going to change even better than us with your talent in the guitar, our lives. And you're going to be on stages, on film screens, with your paintbrushes, and that's going to be awesome too. But you know what? You are going to change also banking. You're going to change organizations like ours. You working in BNP Paribas or other companies, you're going to decide how we are going to cooperate and compete with fintechs. You're going to decide how we are going to finance something from a smartwatch. You're going to decide on social responsibility policies too, and that's going to be really, really great. So there is one idea here that I wanted to tell you. We have done a lot as banking, but there is still a lot to do, okay? And let me just say, superficial things change, profound things also change, the way of thinking changes.
I suggested, Alberto, they had to sing the song, but he didn't.
No, I don't sing very well. She sang it very well. She is Mercedes Sosa. She was the one writing this song. Actually, she defined herself not as a singer who could only sing, but someone who needed to do it, someone who had the mission to sing. She is still considered one of the best of folk music in Argentina. And so she, as you all can imagine, she was a great agent for changing. And you, what are you going to change? That's the question. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
Hi. Okay, you're leaving, so I can see you. You leave. You can go while I'm speaking to you. Don't worry. Go. We can do many things at the same time. You can go have food. You can go have drinks. You can talk to one another. You can pee also, because I guess there's people that need to pee. So, yeah. Come back at 4 p.m. I have to tell you something important, though. When you're here, the festival part where you're going now to have food, drinks, and stuff is going to be closed. So if you suddenly stand up and go, you're going to go to a closed part. So it's rather better to stay here. So that's it. Go enjoy your lunch, speak to one another, kiss the cheeks, give hugs, and have a great time. We'll see you after. Bye, 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 bye.